The views expressed by the guests of The Real Showcast do not necessarily represent the views of The Real Showcast or its hosts. Enjoy the show.
Deedle 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 deedle. Robble 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 deedle deedle robble deedle. Welcome to the cast, The Real Showcast. What? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Real Showcast. It's the cast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Real Showcast. I'm your host, Tommy Mack, and with me, once again, and I'm super excited about it, is my man, Eric Stretch.
Well, I'm so glad you're super excited about it because I am super thrilled to be here again as your co-host, Tommy Mack.
And here for every episode.
Let's hope.
Unless you're out of town or something special happens, you're going to be here with me.
Every time
Every
it gets
time.
just a little bit more solidified.
Every
I like
time.
it.
Every time.
Well, I am so excited to introduce our next guest.
Yeah.
Tommy and I personally are so, I know I say this like a lot, but this one's like for real. We are so thrilled to introduce the man who just takes over the Los Angeles airwaves for 102.7 KISS FM and recently added an iHeartRadio countdown to his repertoire.
You love him for his radio prowess. We love him.
Here we go.
We love him for his hair
Absolutely.
and sweet moves.
Sweet moves.
Ladies and gentlemen, JoJo on the radio, Mr. JoJo Wright.
Three people in the back. Yay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
God, you kidding me? This is awesome.
You're on the other side of the table.
This is
today,
you know what?
which
Yeah,
is interesting.
I'm kind of I was telling these guys off the air that there was some sort of like weird satisfaction knowing that you guys were you know the day prior, like I'm always doing prep and going over notes and whatever for all that, and we'll explain this later, but just to know you guys are sitting around doing prep. Like I saw you posted an Instagram pic up. I'm like, they're doing work on me and I don't have to do anything but just show up. So I'm
Right.
like, yeah.
That's
so
right.
there's something
Tables
very
have literally
satisfying in it.
turned.
But it's
Literally
kind of, it is weird to be sitting on this side wondering like, all right, what are they going to ask me? You know, so
don't you worry.
It's gonna get gnarly here, you know.
It won't get gnarly. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
I
I
promise.
think you might
Ask
survive.
me anything. Ask me anything. Go.
Well,
whatever.
let's start simple.
All right.
Let's start simple. Tell us about the show. The show that you've had going on for
The main radio show,
It's
yeah.
the
The main radio
longest.
show.
I mean, is it the long? It's been going on for a long time.
I've been on KISS.
Are
for
you
about
close to?
about 20 years?
20 years,
About 20 years on KISS.
What
Well,
is-
actually, it is 20 years.
What is the record?
The record would have to be, as far as on KISS FM, probably Rick Dees, I guess.
Rick Dees in the morning.
Okay.
I don't know the exact amount of time he was on, but got to be 25, 30, give or take.
Are you going to try to overtake that?
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe. I don't know. It depends. It depends. And
if the contract's right.
If the contract's right, and I don't think I ever want to. I'm not trying to leave radio ever,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to add things to it.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
like keep radio and do this, and kind of make radio my kind of like I look at radio kind of like Kobe Bryant looked at the Lakers. It's his main thing, but he also did the Nike thing, and he also did this and that. And granted, I'm trying to get that level still,
Right.
Ways to go. But radio,
Compare yourself to Kobe. That's fine.
yeah.
You can own up to that.
Get my jump shot down. But it's just like I'm trying to. It's my main thing, and it's been going on forever, and it's about 20 years, like you said. And got I started when. And by the way, how I know these guys? They were in a band called No Authority years ago. Basically, when I started KISS FM, roughly, if I recall, because
Somewhere.
give or take. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
exactly the date, but up in my early stages of KISS is when I met you guys, and KISS has since moved from one side of the 134 freeway to the other side. If you're not from LA, it's
Right.
Yeah, just
Right. I remember that.
Just picture a freeway.
Yeah.
But I met you guys back then, and I was doing basically the evening slot, which was right now I'm doing 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every night,
Yes.
so it's a 3-hour show. But I think when I met you, it was probably 7 to midnight or 7 to 11 or 8 to midnight, whatever it was. But basically that evening slot.
And then Bob's Big Boy, super late
Oh,
night.
yeah, Bob's Big Boy
Right.
down the street, which is, thank God that place is open 24 hours. Although it bugs me they don't have oatmeal. It's always bothered me that Bob's doesn't have
Big Boy doesn't have oatmeal?
Doesn't have oatmeal. I don't know why that's
Bob's.
always bothered me, I just
Come
want
on,
oatmeal,
Bob.
It's just,
Well, how about a little porridge?
Yeah,
a little
come on
porridge
now.
for JoJo.
Grain.
Let's do a hashtag porridge for JoJo.
why that comes up in the pocket, I don't know, but I just want oatmeal there. Why? Wait, did some brown sugar in that thing? But nonetheless, I've been doing that night show, which I just love that night feeling, that nighttime radio thing.
Yeah.
Do I want to do it forever? No, but I've pretty much done it forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love that, just that slot and the energy that comes with it.
Right.
And it's fit with me for so long, and I do a ton of interviews. I think I've literally you know, the list is probably shorter on who I haven't interviewed
Right.
than who I have.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, I'm joking a little bit.
Not
but
like total people in the world,
but like in the-
like
in the-
entertainers.
in the pop-
then yes,
in the pop
culture,
music genre.
I would
music
believe
genre.
that.
And I think the only ones I can, you know, you're going to rattle off 5 names I haven't talked to, or 10 or whatever. But I've talked to so many people, and I've got so many stories, and it's just I can't. Sometimes when I tell these things, and I was talking to you, Tommy, the other day. Sometimes, and the same thing applies to you, Eric. When you tell these stories of what you like, things you encounter in this weird media, radio, whatever it is, it almost seems like you're making it up.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just. And if you
Absolutely.
tell some, like I visit some family like in Texas, and they know what I do, but they don't really know. Like my dad still doesn't know what radio station I'm on. He's like, my son, he's on some station called Kiss FM, Dad. Yeah, been there for 20 years. Okay, but it's just he'll like it's you tell these stories to people outside of this world, you know, and
Right.
outside of LA especially. And it seems like you're making this crap up. It is just
Right.
nuts. So you know that's. But
You're like,
radio
so
show-
I was high fiving Ariana Grande, or you know, so yeah, it was the weekend we were at the Neverland Ranch, and then
Yeah, you're like,
wait,
I
what?
know what's coming out of my mouth and how it sounds, but
sounds like
it's my truth.
It sounds insane,
But
you know.
speaking of Texas,
Right.
because my entire side of my mom's side of the family is from Houston, Texas.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, no
you-
kidding.
So you grew up outside of Houston, Texas.
Just inside of Houston. Yeah, my mom still lives in Baytown, and she just got back in her house because of the hurricane. She's been out of her house for probably I mean, she's fine, everything's good. Well, but she was in the hurricane, and she wasn't in a flood area, but it got, you know, even though you're not in a flood area, luckily she got flood insurance, and her house had about 4 or 5 feet of about 4 feet of water in it, and she had to move out for about 8 months. It's a lot, you know. So her and my sister and my sister's boyfriend live in this house, and they got picked up by a dump truck to go through the, you know, because water was crazy at this time, and they, you know, stayed in a hotel, and they've been there for, you know, like I said, about 8 months, and
Wow.
finally back in the spot. So they live in Houston. Is your family? Did they get hit by the hurricane, or
yeah, pretty bad.
pretty nuts?
Pretty
you know.
bad.
Did they ride in dump trucks? as
No,
well?
I think that's a bonus, right? You get to ride in a dump truck.
I don't think I've ever ridden in a dump truck.
I haven't either.
no.
But what about you?
no.
Like you said, Houston. What's
Yeah,
your?
Houston, Texas. Yeah, for sure. The Cuvions is my mom's side of the family, so that's a pretty popular name. It's because they came from France to New Orleans and settled in Houston, Texas.
Nolans.
Very cool.
Nolans.
Nolans.
But I wanted to know, growing in Houston or growing up in Houston, Texas, outside of Houston, how did you get involved? And how did this become the JoJo on the radio? How did that whole journey start with you, you know, being from that town?
You know what? I had no connection. Like a lot of people, you know, you gravitate to do what your parents do because it's just, you know, it's easy and you have, you know, more knowledge in that field than any other field, you know.
And they push you.
And they
a lot
push
of
you a little
times,
bit sometimes,
too,
you
so.
know. But I had nobody in my family had any contact with, you know, any connection with radio, with TV, nothing. My dad was a cop and he had cows. Nothing to do with
Texas.
Yeah, it was Texas. Yeah, there was no, you know, there weren't auditions, or maybe they were, and I just didn't know about them. There weren't auditions for TV shows, and I wasn't in Houston. There's probably more in Houston City, but I was, you know,
Right.
on the outskirts. But there weren't any, you know, hey, we're having an audition for this TV show, or come be a host of this. It was just, do you want to raise a cow? You know, it's kind of what it boiled down to.
You want to raise it or ride it?
Yeah, pretty much. And actually, for a while, I wanted to be a. And my dad didn't let me do this, but I wanted to be a bull rider as a kid. You know, when I was super young, and granted, that would be probably a much shorter shelf life because you know that's for super young
Ouch.
kids, and you might die. So there's
And-
that.
and, you
spinal
know,
cord
Yeah, that whole
injuries.
thing.
and-
It's the extreme sport where the skateboard comes back to kill you after it throws you off. But yeah. But when I was in the after I graduated 8th grade that summer before high school, I got a job at this little radio station in Baytown, and granted it was just I would go help out. My dad he was. You remember the old TV show, or you probably heard of Andy Griffith? Or,
Of course, yeah.
Yep. That's
My wife and I watch it before bed when we feel like something wholesome. Like when we've had a really terrible like LA kind of day.
Really?
We put on Andy Griffith and we
I don't know if
Yep,
we
we just chill.
Don't sing the theme song.
That show is almost too wholesome. You know, it's like, is this real? Like you almost expect something. And now I watch it, I'm like, was something creepy going on? It's almost too but nonetheless, my dad is Andy Griffith of the town, you know.
Okay.
And so he kind
I
of
didn't know that.
Well,
There's no resemblance.
I know,
mean,
right?
is
It's kind of weird. But people knew my dad. And
Yeah.
I walked through the town. And hey, Tom, you know, everybody knew Tom. And so he got me this. He introduced me to these people at this old radio station for whatever reason, and they let me do a radio show. And granted, keep in mind, like Kiss FM is a massive, massive radio station.
Right.
Huge.
This station I worked at was not. It was the complete opposite. I would say, "Hey, we're taking caller number 1 for whatever contest." Come back in a song. Still looking for caller 1. I mean, I've literally said that. You know,
You couldn't even get caller one half.
it was just this station was known for like anybody. This station was known for 2 shows. It was known for it's like mom and pop radio. By the way, we're not under any time like just,
Not at all.
Okay,
No,
good.
no,
oh God, it's like
No, we're good.
this is right now. It's an adjustment for me for radio because normally I'm like da 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 da, you know, but so I can just chill.
Yeah,
Chill.
chilling. We're chilling.
Nice. All right then.
It's the real showcast. Where
oh,
we
love
chill.
it.
Yeah, you be chill.
But it was known for 2 things. This little mom and pop radio station. It was a midday radio show they called Tradio, which they let me host a couple of times. What you're thinking is probably what it is.
Yes. Okay.
You would hey, welcome to Tradio. Who is this? Hey, it's Tommy. Tommy, what are you selling? Oh, hey, Jojo, I'm selling a lawnmower. I've had it about a year. You have to kick it a couple of times to get it to start, but once you get it in there, it's pretty good. Looking for $15. All right, Tommy, what's your number? Yada 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 yada. And about and that would continue. And about 3 or 4 calls later, hey, what's Tommy's number again? I think I want to buy a lawnmower. And that whole thing. And I had people go, like little old ladies bring me pies and stuff. And I thought, man, this radio thing is kind of cool. My dad would be listening. Hey, I hear you on the radio. It's really good, So that it was known for this Tradio midday show. And then it was known for high school football.
Okay.
Because it was like the local high school, like whatever, I don't know the teams I'm forgetting the teams, but the Friday Night Lights, that was kind of, that's what it's all about. And then
Right.
they would
Football in
broadcast-
Texas is a whole different ballgame.
It's crazy. I never did do sports broadcasting, but one time there's the play-by-play guy in the football booth,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the color guy who goes, oh my, like the play-by-play guy does
Who goes
the obvious.
Jojo on the radio?
Yeah, yeah. The play-by-play guy's like, and the quarterback steps back, da 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 da, and then the color guy goes, man, that was number 22. That was a good hit, and he kind of fills in the blanks.
Sure.
Well, the one time the play-by-play guy, had to go somewhere. He couldn't make a game.
Right.
So the color guy, the guy who did it every time, stepped into the play-by-play seat, and I'm this kid, probably like at this time probably 9th grade, whatever, 10th grade, and he goes, hey, you want to do the color? I'm like, sure, and you picture Monday Night Football and all the high-tech stuff. Once again, exactly the opposite. They put me in that seat next to next to
megaphone.
him. And you think sometimes when you're doing a broadcast for a football game or a sports game, you'll pause because the crowd's going crazy or the band's dun, 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 dun. Well, we ran a mic because you didn't just plug in stuff like now in the super tech friendly. We ran a mic from the booth all around the top of the there's the what do you call it, the media broadcast. There's the stand, and then there's where the media sits at behind the glass.
Okay.
And I guess the coaches sit up there too, or who knows. But we ran a cord from our little thing to the top so we could pick up the and the da, 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 da. So knowing that, I would just pause at times. We go, oh man, the crowd's going crazy. And we just sit back thinking, man, we must sound great. We're awesome. Well, after we finished the whole broadcast, nobody told us that somebody clearly during the game stole the crowd mic. So I've always wondered what that sounded like. Be like, the crowd's going crazy.
Where did it?
Yeah, they just stole it. Some kid from the school clearly went up there and went. And you know what they did? They were like, these guys suck. Click, and they must have done something like that. So that was my only sport. I've always wondered what that sounded like. So, but can you imagine that broadcast? And now they scored. The crowd's going crazy. We sit back
And then
it's just silence.
Crickets.
But that's what
The
that
crowd's
station-
going crazy.
Trust us.
I think
You're just gonna have to trust us on this one.
I think he's going crazy.
He's lost his mind.
So you're saying you got involved in that because somebody
just didn't show-
show up?
Well, they
interesting.
Yeah, but that was as far as that one particular what do you call it? The sports that football game.
Right.
That's the only football game I did. The weird thing is, I don't know if you saw this part somewhere
On the
is-
IMDb.
Yeah.
On your IMDb, it said that somebody, I'm paraphrasing here, got too drunk and couldn't come to
I
work.
wasn't drunk, but I was in there. This is like one summer or whatever, and they said it was the overnight guy for the station, and.
And what station was this? Was this
It was
still in
the same station I'm talking
Same
about, called
station. Got it,
KBUK, K-Buck.
K-Buck.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
AM 13 something. But this guy did the overnights, and the cops showed up.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
and he got arrested for, to my understanding, writing bad checks.
That's what it was.
That's what it was, yes.
So they said, hey, do you want to? I said, well, I'll fill in until you guys get somebody because my dad was just coming to pick me up and stuff.
And you're still in high school?
I'm still in high school. Well, yeah, high school at this point. When I first started, it was that summer before high school.
Right.
But and I think this was the 9th grade summer or something like that. But he said, "Do you want to come? I'll do it until you find somebody else." And then they just let me do that shift for quite a while. And we say quite a while, a couple of months basically.
Yeah, but that's quite a while for someone in high
Yeah, it's
school.
pretty neat. I
and
thought, that's
ruling the airwaves.
Yeah, I mean, granted, nobody at the school, nobody at my high school really listened to that station unless they listened to the football team. But where I went to school at and where the station was, we didn't broadcast my school's football game. It wasn't that far away, but still, just not the same district, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was my first introduction into radio, and it was a country radio station, which I wasn't a huge country fan, but there's some good songs in there, and it was they had it was actual. The carts, when you guys came to Kiss FM, the carts is what we played a lot of stuff on, and some records. But mainly it was carts, the whole cart thing.
Yeah.
And a cart, if you guys don't know, looks like an old school 8-track tape. And you put
And if you don't know what an 8-track tape is,
then we're just
Google
lost.
it.
Yeah, we just put the thing in, hit the button and go. It's
a little bigger than a cell phone.
But I don't know if I'm gonna go off on a lot of I'm a rambler.
Let's go for it.
But that's kind of that's my early entrance into radio was K-Buck.
K-Buck.
And so then from there you kind of got a taste of the bug and so now you enjoyed it and you started kind of searching out other opportunities.
Exactly.
Can you guide us like your path from
Totally. These are a lot of these stations. Like I said, I've been at Kiss FM for 20 years, but I'm going to rattle off a bunch of stations that were 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year. A lot of these are blah blah blah. But eventually you go through high school and whatnot, and I worked while I was in high school. Worked at another station called KIKR, which is another tiny AM station, Kicker. So it's another country one, as you can tell, and that was right next to the police station. And I know the police. They would call up or the dispatcher would call up and say, "Hey, can you play so and so?" And you stick a song on every now and then, because you want the cops to be on your side because they're right next door.
You don't want them to come get you and then someone takes your place.
No, it'd be awful. So it was terrible. What was it? So that's KIKR. Then I went to. I had there was a station called B95, which is my first top 40 station, and that was in Beaumont, Texas, which is in
Beaumont, Texas, absolutely.
And then an FM, it was an FM, so that's kind of a big deal, Then I think at some point I ended up going in my early years going to Anaheim, which is KEZY in Anaheim.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
where I grew up.
No
So
kidding.
you were just slowly making
Kind
your
of.
way
A
west.
little outside of
Yeah,
Anaheim.
well, I took a jump to the west to Anaheim.
Okay.
And it's funny because I would
So you went from Beaumont to Orange
Yep.
County? That's exactly what my parents did.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Maybe they rode in the same dump
And my
truck.
mom said, I'll live there as long as we don't go to that Sin City, Los Angeles.
Oh, really? Did she say?
Enter me. Sorry, keep going.
Meanwhile, here we are in LA. So I went to KEZY in Anaheim. I recall my dad driving me out here, and my dad. I don't know why I remember this because we go to Disneyland all the time, and I point this out to my kid all the time. I think Ball Road, there's a Benihana's restaurant on Ball Road, and my dad's like, "You want to get some food?" I'm like, sure. He took me to Benihana's right there on Ball Road. So that's one of my first, me and Dad moments in.
Well, that's a good one.
It's
Some
a good one, right?
hibachi.
That's
man,
excellent
just
experience.
Can't hate that. So eventually I left there. I went to Salt Lake City for a week.
Okay.
Didn't like it. Turned that down. Came back to Anaheim.
No comment.
Yeah. It just. it was just. I shouldn't say I didn't like it. It was just. I didn't like it.
I shouldn't say it, but
It was just.
It wasn't your cup of tea.
It wasn't. I recall, I was literally there for a week, and the program director that hired me in Beaumont went to Salt Lake City and hired me to go to Salt Lake City from Anaheim. So now the connection is starting to pay off. And I've since apologized to him. I was a dumb kid. I didn't do anything terrible, but I felt like I just had to do this. When I left, I went to the station in Salt Lake City, and I just immediately just knew I just didn't feel right about it. And I know on the air, I'm not a shock jock. I don't go on and say, "Oh, F this." I'm not Howard Stern. That's not what I do.
Right.
I used to want to be that, but every time I tried anything along that,
Well,
I just
so you know,
didn't feel right.
if you feel like throwing out a word that's a little more adult, it's fine.
I can
Like
do
we
it
don't have
here.
any restrictions here, like as far as time or language.
So, yeah,
don't just start spouting off just to say
You don't need
them.
to do all that.
But don't like bite your tongue on account of us.
Well,
as
I'm
well.
not much of a cursor anyway.
Sure.
but,
Yeah, I'm not either.
so
I am.
he's the filthy mouth. But I went over there and I think I was giving away a prize, something just ridiculous. I said, "Oh my God, you're a winner." And the next day they call me in, because granted Salt Lake City has a different kind of thing, and hey, do you do you? Hey, that's great. And they didn't treat me bad, but I got JoJo. You can't say oh my God. You can't say oh my God. I'm like,
Yes, that is yeah.
And
Right.
and I was and it wasn't sacrilegious. I mean, I didn't say oh my God, going to hell for a year.
Right.
And I just thought, man, that's just a lot to worry about, And granted, and not that I was Mr. Wildman at KEZY Anaheim, but it's a little. And plus, and if it was just that, I probably would have stayed. But I think just some behind this, nothing bad, but I'll get specific. Back in the day, you'd have to cut your own commercials, and they'd give you right now. If I need to cut a commercial on Kiss, and granted, Kiss FM is a huge station, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But if they want me to cut a commercial, I go into a room and I go yada yada yada. It's JoJo on the radio, yada yada blah blah blah, and then they take it and load it up and do all their stuff, everything. There, you kind of had to do your own things, and they promised me that I wouldn't have to do a lot of the stuff when I moved to the station. Like, hey, give me minimal stuff, but let me focus on the show.
Right.
And I want to stay, because I was doing 7 to midnight at the Salt Lake City radio station. They'd give me enough production and dubs, what we call dubs and whatever, to do. It would take me about an hour to 2 hours. So I'm there till 2 o'clock in the morning. I thought, man, I didn't sign up for this. So before I got too far down that road, I just said, guys, I think I'm going to bail out. I took off back to LA.
Okay.
So loaded up my little goofball car back to LA. Then I ended up taking a job in North Carolina.
Oh, sheesh. All over.
Yeah, all over. So I went back home for a second to Texas and kind of regrouped for a hot second. And then me and my dad drove to Charlotte, North Carolina.
See, now you're in the hood where my family, where I grew up.
So you were in South Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Sumter.
So you,
Dun, dun, dun.
Sumter.
we should have met in the
I
past.
know,
at some
right?
point.
Which is where I met my wife at. I met my wife in North Carolina, near Charlotte. But I get over there. Actually, on our way to North Carolina, we drove through New Orleans, and I don't know. 2-second sidebar story. We were driving through New Orleans, and me and my dad get caught in a Mardi Gras-ish type parade. We're take a left here, I take a right, let's take a right.
You were in the car?
And we in our car. We were in a parade. We're there are people waving, and we're like, we're waving back. Let's get off this road quick. Boom. Back, on to North Carolina. Yeah, so that was random little left.
nice little pit stop.
Hey,
right?
Dad, I
Nice
think
little
we're
detour.
lost. Okay, while they're waving, I don't know, just smile. So we took off to North
Did
Carolina.
you get any beats?
No beats.
Were you just depending on Thomas guides for these directions?
Yeah, there was no Navi, nothing like that. We were just,
Nothing like that.
Maps.
of course, my dad being my dad, he knows everything. He just knows where to go. And I'm like, all right, Dad. So it was like Thomas guides and maps, and I, to be honest with you, I probably depended on his, personal navigation skills too much. But he just knew where to go.
You got there.
Sort of.
You
we got
arrived.
there,
Yeah.
But that was just a funny little random sidebar. But we get to North Carolina, stay at CKZ. It's WCKZ in Charlotte, another top 40 station. And now we're starting to get into the bigger stations. I mean, granted, CKZ is not a massive station, but it was a respected station, and it's a station where record labels report they because the way it works, record labels go to radio stations, say, hey, we're pitching this record,
Right.
we're pitching No Authority, we're pitching so and so.
Right.
How are we looking with the rotations? Oh my God, da 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 da. It's a station that that was a focal point in that area. Like, we want to get top 40 spins on the station, so it was an important top 40 station in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And B95 in Beaumont had for a lower market, for a smaller market, record companies did that too. But CKZ was a different size. Stayed there for a while. Met my wife there. And I eventually went back and got married in Gastonia, which is a little city outside of Charlotte. So that's where I got married at. But so CKZ in Charlotte, and I met some consultants there, which will be instrumental in my career, like radio consultants that kind of have a love-hate with consultants, because they always tell you what you're doing bad, and you get critiqued every 5 seconds. They're like, oh my God. But met some cool ones. So CKZ. Then after that, in one calendar year, this is pretty crazy. One calendar year at the. In January of whatever the year this was, I went from CKZ to Dallas to a station called Y95 in Dallas. Or I think they changed. I'm sorry, it changed to Power 95, I believe. But at one point, Power 95 something.
95. Okay.
Yeah, and that station, once again, big market, massive market. I'm a big Dallas Cowboys fan, so on top of that. One quick thing, I was offered a job when I was in Charlotte. I was offered a job to go to Phoenix.
Okay.
And I took the job over the phone. Like, you want to go to Phoenix? Sure, that sounds great. Oh my God. And then before I, went to Phoenix, I got a call from Dallas, and they said, hey, do you want to come to Dallas? And I'm like, well, I've already verbally accepted this offer for Phoenix. He goes, we'll fly to Dallas. All right, cool. So he flew me to Dallas. This guy named Frank Miniacci, who now
Frank Miniachi.
Do you know Frank? Or
No, I just like saying the
yeah,
name.
Frank Miniachi.
A little whining and dining.
Well, he good guy. He's out here in L.A. now. But am I good here? He brought me to Dallas, and he said do a sample show. So I go on the radio one night and just yell and scream in Dallas and do this whole thing. And it's once again they probably didn't know this, but I'm on the 8th floor of this building or whatever floor, something like 8th, 9th, and behind me was Texas Stadium where the Cowboys played. It shouldn't mean anything as far as my decision to go to a station or not, but it's just I'm like, oh my god,
Well,
this is the Cowboys show. But we do this show, and it goes good, I think. And I go into Frank's office because he came back up there late that night, and he goes, "You like it out here?" He goes, "I think Frank, I think it's pretty cool." And once again, I'm looking at Frank and his glass window behind him, and there's Dallas, the Cowboy Stadium. What do you think? You enjoy it? I'm like, yep. He goes, "You want to work here?" I'm like, I think so. I said, "Well, think it over. We want you to come here. Here's $1,000 and a limo's waiting downstairs. Where do you guys want to go?" So we ran Dallas that night and just had a ball. And I ended up going to Dallas. The station didn't work out, but I was in Dallas for about 6 months. The station never clicked. But I ended up leaving the station and going to a consultant that worked with me in Charlotte was consulting a station in San Francisco. So I said, "You want to come to San Francisco?" All right.
So you're not putting yourself out there. You're not saying, "Hey, I would love to do this." They're actually coming to you now.
I think at that point in Dallas, I knew the station was kind of coming to an end, so I started making some calls and whatnot. And but this consultant's name was Jerry Clifton, which I think he still consults stations. He's based in San Diego. He lives in La Jolla, so he's doing pretty well. But he said, "Do you want to come to San Francisco?" And I said, "Let's do it." So we I went to a station called KSOL in San Francisco, and they were about to make a flip to a station that's now known as it flipped to Wild 107, which is it turned into a big top 40 station out there, which is now known as Wild 94.9. But they didn't change to Wild 94.9 until I came to LA. But I went to San Francisco, probably stayed. The total time in San Francisco probably like 2.5 years. But in that 2.5 years, I got fired, went to Philly, and came back.
All over the map.
Yeah.
And were you dragging your wife along the?
After we got married. When I went to, I'll backtrack a little bit here. When I went to Charlotte, I met her.
Okay.
And then I should have Dina to tell this story. She loves telling this story. I met a girl there. I'm not gonna say any names, but we started
dirt.
We started dating there, and then we just it's one of those relationships where you got to 50% my fault. It just didn't work out. And she'd say the same thing about me, I'm sure, and I would deserve it. But
that's fair, 50-50, right?
Yeah,
50-50 fault.
So I ended up leaving Charlotte and going to Dallas, and this girl came with me, thinking, well, maybe we'll make it work in Dallas. I'll tell the story one of these days. My wife will have to tell you the story, but I had a mutual. There's a buddy of mine named Paige who is a radio promotion guy. This is going to sound confusing. I'm sorry for it sounding so crazy, but there's so many things in my head right now. But when I went to, basically, long story short, when I went to Dallas, this guy named Paige and my wife were friends.
Okay.
And this girl was going to come with me.
Got it.
Let me back up. I want to make sure I get this right. This is a really good story. When I went to Dallas, this girl was going to come with me. But I fell in love with my current wife, my only wife.
Right.
I fell in love with Dina. We started flirting. Nothing ever happened. I wouldn't do any kind of behind the scenes. But I was falling in love with Dina.
Right.
So I would leave her little notes. I would drop by her apartment. I would leave we had these headshots we'd give out for radio, hey, it's JoJo, whatever. And I'd leave these things on her car.
That's nothing says class like giving a girl a headshot.
Just a signed headshot.
And I put like 10 of them underneath
I've done
her
that
windshield
many
wipers
times.
and everything. You did the headshot. You got it. So
I got my
black and
wife.
whites.
I got my wife by giving her a CD. I'm totally kidding. Totally kidding.
She's like, is he kidding? Okay. She's like, I'll punch you in the face, Tommy, right now.
By the way, today, and we'll talk about it a little more in depth later. Today, for the first time ever, we have an in-studio audience.
Yay!
Which we'll touch on a little more of that in a bit.
All right.
But anyway, those headshots that I put on Dina's car, somehow they snuck those into that current girlfriend's suitcase. In other words, they were pissed off at me. So when this girl that I was dating,
Right.
not my wife.
Right.
They took the headshots and all the notes I gave her over the years and put them in her suitcases before she moved out to see me. So
And didn't tell her?
and didn't tell her, didn't tell me. So they're waiting for this thing to blow up.
scandalous.
It is scandalous, And then
They were trying to get you murdered.
they were trying to get me murdered. So one day, and they put him in the suitcase, and I don't know. And she comes out to Dallas, and we lived there for a while. And then she goes to take a trip to Jersey. This girl goes to take a trip to Jersey, and she calls me up, going, "What are these pictures of you and Dina?" And because she found the photos finally. It took a while for her to find the pics.
Where were they tucked away in this? Like a secret compartment?
I
in
guess
there?
so. Maybe I'm getting the timelines mixed up, but so maybe she came out a little later, and but
Something happened where they were tucked away.
They were tucked in the suitcase.
Okay.
I'm missing some steps here, but the important thing is, without all those crazy small details, and she went on a trip because I guess she didn't use the luggage for a while, and she went on a trip to I think Jersey or somewhere, New York, and she rings me up just yelling at me like, "What are these pictures?" And I honestly had no clue what she was talking
How
about.
could you put that together?
I'm like, I have no clue. I mean, I remember the pics in my head, but I'm like, but I have no clue what you're talking about. And later, years later, when I get married to Dina, she's like, I have to make a confession. This is what we
Dina,
did.
so she was the
Dina,
master.
Dina totally did it. She totally did it. And she now she wishes she had the photos to like hey, this is what to show our daughter the things I left her and whatnot. But it's a funny story. But they were all scandalous. They thought it was hilarious.
You know better than to mess around with it. She'll put you in a suitcase.
Oh my
if
God! I will be
something-
put you in a suitcase.
I am the most. I do not cheat at all.
that's
I
good.
learned my lesson. But so that's that. So I went to. So where am I at here? I'm in San Francisco. Went to
Right.
Philly for 6 months. Oh, no, went to Philly for like 4 months, and then dragging my wife with me. And I think I lived in a haunted apartment in Philly.
Haunted?
Oh, that's
I think
fun.
so. But
Or it could have been Dina
it could have been Dina.
doing things. to you.
It was Dina just watching scratching.
Oh God! I need to bring Dina and have her tell the story. She loves telling that story. She's half embarrassed, but she loves telling it. So back to San Fran, and then I get an offer to go to Chicago, but I ended up staying in San Francisco because I wanted to be close to LA. LA is
Yeah.
where I wanted to be.
Okay.
And finally, all that stuff you just heard me say was, that's a long story, but it wasn't,
But that was your journey.
That's
to
my journey.
Get you to
No, I mean,
JoJo on the radio.
that's something that we wanted to actually really spend time on because I'm not sure. I've never. I mean, you can read on IMDb all the call numbers and the stations. That you can see everything.
Right.
But to actually have the story explained, like, I think it's really awesome. And thanks for sharing that with
Absolutely.
us. It's nice
and most of those are
to hear.
shorter stops. Like, don't think I've stayed at 50 years at each one. They're
Yeah.
kind of bam, bam, bam. Radio is kind of like, or I've been told it's kind of like military moving. There's nothing like the military, I guess, but the moving when you move
Sure.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly
guess.
on tour.
It's like,
Yeah,
like
in
a
a way.
radio brat.
Yeah,
Then.
exactly.
Radio, yeah.
And so, but once I get to LA, my plan was to I wanted to lock into LA and just run
And
it.
well, yeah, you did. You planted those roots.
I love
So you
LA.
so you get to LA, you go straight to Kiss.
Straight to Kiss.
And-
I did overnight so at Kiss. I didn't start off with the slot that you met me on.
Do you remember when you first started
98.
in '98?
Right,
Okay.
right about 98. I think I usually say 98, but
That's the year that Tommy started.
And No Authority. That's
Oh,
true.
really?
Yeah.
I may have been like tail of 97, but I'll say 98 to be safe.
Yeah.
So you didn't spend very long on overnights.
No, not at all. When I got there, I did overnights, and then they just started shuffling some stuff, and a new PD came in. When the new
Somebody
PD
got arrested.
Yeah,
and
somebody got
then
arrested.
You took over
I called
their
the cops
spot.
and planted the photos in his briefcase.
Dina planted the photos. You called the cops, and now you have
all
the
comes
perfect
together.
time slot.
It all comes together.
Now we're seeing
Oh,
it. Now we're
man.
seeing what's happening.
So I did overnights for just a hot second, and then they did some flipping around, and then I ended up doing basically the evening slot, which is where I'm still at, and it's just, I think one of my first days when I realized I was in LA, I'm on the, just doing basically a trial shift. I think it was a weekend shift even, but I was doing not even a trial shift, but like just one of my first kind of get my feet wet
And
there.
like the fact, were you just like so thrilled that you got to say KIIS?
You have no idea.
Like
You
that
have
whole,
no
just
idea.
like you worked so hard to actually get to Kiss FM in Los Angeles, and now you actually get to say it on the air. I'm like,
It's a rush when you're a radio geek, and I don't know if I'm sure people in Los Angeles appreciate Kiss for what it is, but for a lot of people in LA, it's just your hometown station,
Right.
which is kind of the way it should be, But in the big picture of radio and just music in general, there's basically two major pop stations in the country: Kiss FM in Los Angeles and Z100 in New York City,
yeah.
which is our sister station, and just to be on the air and go, KIIS FM Los Angeles. It's just a rush.
Yeah.
And it's also a rush. Like I've done some stuff because which we'll talk about in a little bit. I'm sure the iHeart Countdown. It's on in Z100 New York. So now when I'm cruising around, the countdown airs at 8:00 on KISS in LA and 10:00 in New York City, both on Sunday night. So I can cruise on XM and click back and forth and hear my voice.
Look,
on
it's me.
New York,
Oh,
New York
it's
and LA.
me again.
It's just nuts. So I mean, I geek out when that
You
happens.
still do that every Sunday? You still listen back and forth to
Not
yourself?
all the time, but
every now and again.
But I'll click on if I'm in the car.
Sit in the car with some pizza and just listen.
Look at that.
Just in park, not even going anywhere.
Neighbor's like, this guy's weird. He just sits in his car.
What was the most challenging thing about being in LA at KISS? Like was there something that you maybe didn't expect coming into the market? Something that because you'd clearly been doing it for a while,
Right.
But was there something different here that you had to adjust to?
I think
anything.
I think I knew right off I wanted to get my brand. I wanted to get like this name JoJo on the radio, which
Rolls right off the tongue.
It does, and it happened by accident. I can tell you that story too, but it happened by accident. But I wanted that brand. I wanted to start off with one thing, and if you just can do one thing for a long time,
Right.
it sticks. Simple
Yeah.
as JoJo on the radio works because it rhymes and it's just you don't have to think. It just is what it is. It explains who I am in a second.
Right.
But I just wanted to get my brand and start rolling it and start just kind of building bricks, like stacking up my little thing, my
Your branding bricks.
My branding bricks,
Well,
yes.
branding also, I think you're ahead of the game because now branding is what everybody is doing now
True.
due to all the social media. So the fact that you started branding 20 years ago, I think is why you have the roots and the success now.
Thank you. I think so. And I think some of the branding stuff I've done, I'd like to say I really was ahead of the game, but I think some of it, luckily, I did it by accident, But then again, I was thinking that way too. Some of the stuff I do now, it's more thought out, which, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm on the left, I'm on the right.
the
Hi,
right.
I'm JoJo,
Yeah.
I'm famous is a thing I've used for a while, which is
Yeah.
a weird thing I can explain later too. But I think when I first got here, the first thing I realized was, I'd always done interviews, with artists and like musical artists in the past, but not a ton. And even when I first started at KISS, I didn't do a ton. It just sort of built up. But you have to realize that the people you're talking about, like if you're in another market, if you're in Milwaukee, no offense to Milwaukee, I'm sure it's a great place, but if you
Their
say,
White Castle is open 24 hours.
is it really? Have you been there? Is it
Downtown Milwaukee.
super-
Just saying.
It's awesome.
So that's a plus.
I just had White Castle for the first
the only
time in
thing I remember
Nashville the
about
other day.
Milwaukee.
Oh my god! But if you say something about a celebrity, they're not going to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
You say something here, and it just gets back to people.
Right.
Like the first thing, this is not a matter of me saying something, but this girl calls me on the radio when I first got to L.A. and she goes, "Hey, JoJo," and it's these two young girls, and their mom was in the background. Hey, will you play a song for us? I'm like, oh, what do you want to hear? Blah, 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 whatever. And she goes, come on, you got to play it. It's look, my friend is Kirsten Dunst, and she's in this movie called she was, I think, on ER or something at the time or whatever, some TV show.
Okay.
What was an ER? But that's not where I knew her from. And I said,
Okay.
wait a minute, no. Is this Kirsten? She wasn't in Interview with a Vampire, was she?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of this movie. And she goes, yeah, that's her. I'm like, nah, it's not her. Stop it. We'll prove it to you. We'll come by the station. All right, whatever. I was like, well, I'll play your song, but if it's you, come by. Cool, And I thought, well, if it's not her, and if some creeper, we just won't let him in,
Right.
And sure enough,
Lock
they
'em
walked
in.
in, and it was Kirsten and her buddy, and they were super young, and they, said hi to their mom and whatnot, or whoever was. I think it was somebody, and that was it. Didn't take a picture because I didn't have an iPhone,
Right.
But that'd have been great. But and I've seen her maybe. I don't know if I've seen her since then. I haven't really done any interviews with Kirsten, but that was one of my first celebrity encounters in LA. And it was just, I'm like, oh my God, that's just wild.
Unexpected.
Yeah. And
Right.
later, and granted, I'll fast forward a bit, learning to not say things. I recall on the air, artists have writers or backstage requests before a show. And I thought it'd be interesting to tell some stories of like, oh my God, so-and-so artist wants, it wasn't anything really scandalous. I was like, oh, they want 25 pounds of,
Beef jerky.
beef jerky and some hot Cheetos.
Only blue M&Ms.
Yeah, only blue M&Ms. And but it wasn't even like being picky. It was just random stuff. And they called my boss and said, JoJo needs to stop doing this or we're backing out of the show. And I was like, holy damn. And it was somebody like, I don't know who it was, but I think it was either, might have been Gwen or J-Lo or one of the two. I don't know. But I'm great with both of them now. And I get it. Maybe they don't want their business on the radio.
Makes
So
sense.
I
Makes
learned
sense. Yeah.
Oh, we were really proud of our writer.
What was on your writer?
It was like deli meats and then
Beef
a
jerky.
tray of vegetables. But I think as
Clamato.
a joke, as a joke,
juice.
we asked for a 24 pack of Coronas because we were not 21.
Did you get it?
And we
did.
got it. Every city would go in and we'd be like, "Thank you. You keep the deli meats."
and then our tour bus was actually called the Silver Bullet,
It was
which
called
is
the
like the
Silver Bullet.
Coors.
Oh God! So you're
So,
like,
so we were just
We had to.
it was debauchery.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that shit would fly now. But
Probably not, but you never know. But I'm on a quest to get artists to do wild, writer request. Nick Jonas told me once. He said I don't think he still does it, but he wanted an 80s, like at the very you put it at the very bottom of the list, thinking that if they go through and get this wild thing at the very bottom, they probably got everything else. But he wanted an 80s basketball poster on the wall in his dressing room, like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird in the short
Yeah.
shorts. And if he walked in, quite a few times, and there's Larry Bird on the wall with that. I want to say Mary J. Blige, I think it was Mary J. Said she wanted a gold toilet seat. If it's not Mary J, it's somebody. I'm pretty sure it was Mary J. It could be wrong. Don't sue me. But and it was like, and just to see if they would pull it off. And then she didn't keep it. I don't think they just I guess they could return it.
yeah, sometimes it's like, it's just as ridiculous
A-
as
a
possible.
gold-
Just to see if they'll do it.
A
Just to see.
gold toilet seat that I can keep.
Yeah, that I could keep.
Gold.
Dot. Oh man, but yeah. So that was that, and anyway, those are some of the differences moving to LA, and just it had to get used to LA. As much as I wanted to be here, when I got here, I was like, oh my God, it's always a shock to move somewhere because
Yeah.
you don't know where to go to get your favorite. Where's the In-N-Out? Where's the so-and-so? Whatever.
The beauty of it is you're on the radio. You can ask,
True.
and then people could
Ask
tell.
and you
they
shall
could-
receive.
They would, I'm sure it's like Yelp.
It really is. But back then,
back
It's like Uber Eats.
anybody know where I can get some here? Yeah, I'm over here. Okay, cool.
As far as radio shows go, were there any firsts are there any firsts that stick out to you?
First, like things that I've done.
that you did that nobody else did on the radio at the time.
I think at the time, as simple as this is right now, I don't recall anybody doing the in-studio audience before I did it,
Oh, how interesting.
which I think was with you guys.
How interesting.
I don't recall that.
What a good segue.
Yeah, now everybody has now we have a studio full of, it's a side studio with chairs and a stage and But what we did was I'd give away. I got to thinking, what can I give away that nobody like? What can I do that's really gonna get people like hyped up and just oh
Yeah.
my God. And I take for granted going into the radio station because, I work there every day.
Right.
But man, to come into a radio station and be there for a live interview, and then there's this group, No Authority, that people are going nuts over. Well, I put No Authority in the room, and I put these fans in there, and they have to get to No Authority through me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So and it wasn't like a bad thing. It was like. It's a win-win. You get your fans, you get your radio, they
Right.
get to it, and photos.
But
going
not
on.
directly through you because you were here. They were here right next to us.
Yep.
There were no metal detectors. They could have had little shivs. They could, who knows?
There's no background checks going on.
But we were all good. back then.
But like that's one thing that is what Tommy and I like to say at our claim to fame a lot is we're like, well, we were JoJo on the Radio, the very first in-studio
in-studio.
guest.
It was crazy. It was, and we had, and like now I do like I'll do it from time to time now, but we have so many studios now that I can pull them into a studio. But I still like doing them in the main. There's no chairs.
Fun.
Yeah, there's no chairs. It's just cramming people in this pretty tiny room.
It got warm.
It got warm.
Yeah.
Sweat was dripping off like humidity on the windows, And
Well, you are. You're our first guest with an in-studio audience. We wanted to do that.
Yeah.
so
Special
like
for you. So,
Dude, this
so
is-
welcome to our in-studio audience.
But we did background checks on these guys.
Yes. We checked them thoroughly.
I know we had one winner throw up in the studio once. It got so crowded and so hot.
I was
Somebody
just
threw
so
up.
excited.
I don't know if it's- maybe they hated
Like Wendy.
I don't think it was you guys, but somebody threw up one time, and who knows? And it was
One of my friends wasn't
Wait,
it.
a guest, like an
No,
artist?
no, not the
No,
artist.
the winner.
Yeah. And I've had like people that were guest like winners eventually get interviewed. There was a girl named Christian. There's an actress named Christian Serratos, I believe it's her name, who is now on The Walking Dead. She won passes to be there for an interview when I interviewed I think Blake from American Idol.
Okay.
So she won to be there for the interview, and then fast forward 3 years later, and I'm interviewing her for being on Walking Dead.
And Blake's in the audience.
Maybe so. He's off. He's still putting out music, I think, but I haven't talked to him in a while. But and then that night, do you know the TV show Big Time Rush? Carlos from Big Time Rush at the time. I got we double booked that night for whatever reason. And Carlos was in there the same night as Christian Serratos, and that's the night we had an earthquake with these two guys in there. We're like, oh, Jesus. It was kind of wild because Carlos came running down the hall. We're like, holy crap, a quake, and we're all screaming on the radio. So
How's it feel up there in the what floor were you on?
right now, same studio I'm in now, we're on the 5th, and
Okay.
it wasn't too bad, but you see the speakers kind of swaying a little bit.
It's still terrifying.
I didn't drink anything, did I?
Yeah,
What's
like,
happening?
oh gosh. So, but I just recall that night because they were both there and we had a quake. Yeah, that's just had some interesting moments. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but
No, it's good.
But
This is great.
but that's my story on that. And first, I don't know if I started this maybe like 7 years ago, whatever. I brought an artist into the studio and got a tattoo on the air. So I started. My idea was I think it'd be funny to do an interview, basically the same kind of interview, just hanging out and whatever. But as we're doing this, we get tatted. And I thought I would do that just because I wanted to get my first tattoo, and I wouldn't back out on the radio. If
Were they matching?
we didn't get matching. It
Okay.
was
So this has been 7 years in the making. This whole
this
sleeve
is
that you got
roughly
going
7,
on.
maybe a little
So
over.
you got a little MJJ
See
action
the
there.
Michael logo with his feet right there, and
That was on our album.
Yes,
right there.
Actually.
This part right here.
Right
there.
Some people
Perfect.
think that's a barcode, but yeah, if you guys are listening and not watching a video, it's look at the back of any Michael Jackson bad.
It's his
Thriller or whatever.
legs.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a barcode in his
yeah.
legs. Or if you watch the old school movie Moonwalker, it's the logo at
Yes.
the very beginning, which is where I first saw the logo. But
Which is that the one you got?
that's the first one I got on the
Okay.
air was a Michael one. And Sky Blue from LMFAO came in, and he got, because he already had this one, he got Skate or Die on his arm. I think it's what he got.
like the video game, Skate or Die.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's what he got. But so he came in, and Michael is his. Barry Gordy's his uncle.
Right.
So there was a Michael.
There's a
tie.
relationship
And then
there, yeah.
Austin Brown, a friend of mine named Austin Brown, who I met just before that, who is Rebe Jackson's son, which is Rebe is the sister of Janet, Michael's sister, basically.
Right.
He came in, and he was there when I got it too. I didn't know he was showing up, but he was there. So kind of a cool little, Jackson family related ish members in there, or not ish, but related members in there. As I got that tattoo the first night, and then I got some with Jason Derulo came in. I got the Jack Skellington one.
So most of these have been done on the air.
Probably half of them. Probably half. Jason came in.
And you can't back out.
You can't back out. Yeah.
Is your
Look what-
is your
look at
voice
what happens when you don't
Is your
back
voice different
That's right.
when you're
Well, your voice is not really different. Well,
you're wincing
you're like, hey, it's JoJo on the radio. We'll pull the mic down to the needle so you can hear so we try to pump it up a little bit, and sometimes you squirm a little more just for radio purposes.
you're like sleeved up now.
just one arm, but yeah.
Last time, I mean, when we saw, you didn't have any last time we saw you. I don't think, did you? Or
forget the last time you
none
saw
that were
me, but,
visible. Last time we were in the studio. Sorry.
Oh no, back
Yeah.
then, no, I did not. No.
What happened to you? You were such
I
a
know.
clean country boy.
Look what LA has done to you.
I know, right? That's what. Yeah, look at this.
In-N-Out Burger and sleeve tattoos.
Good God! But you know what happens is you get one tattoo, as Tommy will tell you, and Eric,
Yeah.
if you do it, oh my God, I hate this. It's awesome.
I have zero tattoos, and I was with Tommy when he got
Which one?
His tramp stamp.
the note.
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
one.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
also-
Oh my God, look at that.
It grew.
that.
Yeah.
And also the Kryptonite one.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
That
those
was
are nice.
yeah, and that you were suffering.
That's a long
It's
session. though, right?
on the shoulder, like when it starts hitting the bone,
Yeah, I didn't.
or
I
the
think-
sensitive bits. And
yeah, seeing somebody else get tattoos and having them see what they're going through, I was like, I'm okay.
I'm good. I'll stay right here. Dude, but I'll give you one more tattoo. Jason Derulo came in after he broke his neck, and I
didn't even know he broke his.
Oh, you didn't know? This is probably 5, 6, 7 years ago,
What did
whatever it
he
was. He was doing a backflip or a tuck or whatever you call
Oh,
it,
terrifying.
and he landed kind of funky, and
Like
he
on his head.
on his head or on the he just came in recently for the iHeart countdown, and we relived that story, and he told me he broke his C1, C2, something, whatever number of vertebrae, and but if he would have just gone a little too far one way or the other, he could have been paralyzed. So he
Wow.
dodged a real bullet, even
Yeah.
though he went through a lot. But while he had his neck brace on, he came in and he got a tattoo, and it's not. I thought it said unbreakable, but it's something. We'll have to look it up. But because I said, you got unbreakable, right? He goes, no, it's so-and-so. And I forget what it is now. But it's a word like undefeated.
Undefeated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, undefeated. So that's what he came in and got.
There's a
that.
tattoo that says "Don't do flips anymore."
That's the other side. Julia Michaels just recently, Julie who has the track Issues, and she's a writer. And, she called me the other day and wanted to do an interview. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we got the clearance for the interview. And then she said, how about we get a tattoo? I'm like, because I'm always talking about tattoos, but very few people take me up on it. I'm like, oh my God. So I called my tattoo guy and he said, are you available tomorrow or whatever day? Yep. So I'm like, oh my God, this, I didn't think it was going to work. It never works out that easy. And sure enough, it worked out. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to get up until the time where she walks in. So I had a Jack Skellington shirt on. She had a Mickey Mouse shirt on, or some combination of those. And I'm like, what do you think, Julie? She goes, how about you get a combination of those? We Google this picture, and now I've got a Jack Skellington, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
So it's basically half Julia, half my idea right there. Spontaneous tats, which are generally speaking not a good idea. But I think that was
So it's like, yeah, it's like
Well,
a,
now it's a really
kind of a
nice-
challenge.
like a Mickey
Conversational
kind of.
So those are a couple of my first, a couple of first things I've done.
Well,
I
having
think.
like all these really exciting guests and like the tattoo, do you have one particular guest that is just sticks out as like
Yep.
the most insane or whatever,
Well, this
the
was
one most memorable.
the most memorable. It's going to be an obvious one for me, and I'll give you other ones because this one is so obvious. But it wasn't a guest. I didn't interview them, but I was going to host. They asked me to host a charity event in 2003 at Neverland Ranch, and of course I'm like, and my boss John Ivey, he told me later that he had people around his speakerphone in the office when they called me because of course I'm going to freak because
So for
Michael
those
Jackson.
that don't know, Neverland Ranch is Michael Jackson's.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
You guys
Yes,
when you
both of our album release parties were at Neverland
see.
Ranch, and actually Tommy just told me that he stole. What did you steal from Neverland Ranch?
I didn't steal. I
Borrowed.
borrowed. It was just a glass. It was a glass with the little moon child.
Yep,
You-
okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like, it's like almost like the DreamWorks picture a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I borrowed that.
Yeah, so
You
we were.
I know
Where was
it's somewhere.
Now, you guys probably got to go in the main house. I'm guessing,
Yeah,
right? I did not go. In the main
I went. Sorry guys, but I went so much that I no longer had to sign a release form when I would go in.
house. No kidding.
You know how
I was
when
kind of proud of
Wow.
that. They're like, "Oh, we know you,
That
you
is
can go in."
awesome.
And I was like,
That is you say that so normal, but to me, even after all these stories, I'm gonna tell you, it's just so phenomenal.
"It is
you know?
really quick." Sorry, go ahead.
No,
with the,
did you have to? You had sign the form where you can't tell Michael Jackson jokes. You can't. Like there are a bunch of different rules, and one of them is you can't tell Michael Jackson jokes.
I didn't get that.
You didn't?
I don't
No?
recall getting maybe this. I mean, I don't recall getting that. I know we couldn't bring cameras in there.
Right.
They brought some winners in there because they wanted us to. They brought Kiss FM in
Yeah.
to promote it.
Yeah.
And to bring some winners in. There was two they had two fundraisers that day, a daytime and a nighttime fundraiser, and it was in 2003. It was the same day as an Oscar De La Hoya fight. That's because I just recently I couldn't remember when the date was, and I went, oh my God, what was the date of that fight? Because Mike Tyson was in the movie theater watching an Oscar De La Hoya fight during this whole thing.
in at the event.
At Neverland, yeah.
Right.
So they had the theater open, not showing a movie, showing the fight. So that's how I kind of looked back and found the date. But I don't recall having to sign that, but we couldn't bring cameras in.
Yeah.
But they brought me in to host this charity event, the nighttime event. And of course, I'm thinking, I just thought, look, I love Michael Jackson, but I don't want to get my hopes up. He's probably not going to be here. And at best, he's going to, in the distance, walk by with a little mask on and whatnot, and wave, and I'll lose my mind, and it'll be great. But sure enough, I'm on this stage. They put this like a circus-looking tent on the grounds of Neverland. We could walk around the grounds.
Is it near where the Ferris wheel?
Yeah, it was
was?
pretty close. 'Cause I saw
Yeah.
the Ferris wheel. Although I don't know if it was close enough where I walked between the two.
Yeah.
I saw the zoo, but it was closed by the time I
Yeah,
got
no,
there.
you're like right. There's like the pool in the house, and then there's like
Right.
the open grounds. I got you right there.
Yeah, no, I didn't go into the main house like I said, but I saw the Ferris, the amusement park thing. I saw the zoo, but
The
didn't
stage
get-
was in that
yeah,
region.
I didn't get to go in the zoo. I wish I could have seen that. I went to the theater after the fight was over, and I saw the whole thing. And
Get your own popcorn,
yeah,
candy.
and the
yeah.
little
There's a
Michael
dance
Jackson
studio
dance
underneath.
thing.
There's a dance studio underneath the.
It's underneath it.
Yeah, it's like kind of it's like it's a part of that same structure.
Because in my head, I always thought it was like connected to it underneath. Got it. Okay, I didn't go there.
It is connected, but you can get to it by going down some weird stairs.
You guys rehearse a lot there?
There are secret
There's- yeah.
passageways
Dude,
all
this
around
is so wild.
there.
But okay, so this big tent, fans are out there, big stage set up. Everything's going crazy. This guy, whoever he was, he comes up to me. He was on the ground. I was on the stage, and he kind of looked up, and I was like, hey, yeah. He goes, Jojo. I'm like, yeah. In a few moments, I want you to page Mike Tyson. I'm like, Mike Tyson? All right. I've never heard. How many times can you page Mike Tyson? Yeah, sure.
Mike Tyson to the stage, please. That's terrifying.
Yeah. So, but I never saw Mike Tyson personally. So I'm told he was there. I never saw him. And maybe if you see a video, there's videos floating of this. But I don't even know if he's on the video or not. Maybe he is. I've still never seen Mike Tyson there. Nick and Aaron Carter were there. Backstreet Boys, Nick, and Aaron, of course, Aaron, his brother.
Right.
And they said, hey, if Michael, he said, and if when Michael comes up, when he wants the mic, just give him the mic, and you guys have fun. I'm like, wait, so Michael's gonna
I'm going to give
Huh?
him the mic.
Michael's
What?
gonna here?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, right. And so I was like, okay. So I'm inside. I'm like, oh my god, this is happening. Outside, I'm like, sure, not a problem, no big deal, whatever, you know. And Michael comes up. The place is going crazy. Fans are going nuts. Like, Michael, do you you need the mic? No, I'm fine, thank you. It's cool. So he goes up and he waves to the fans and whatnot. And he eventually asks for the mic and says a few things. Then we bring a cake up. A couple of, Manny on the streets, Manny from the Seacrest show. Who's,
course.
Right.
Manny's doing some other stuff now, but still, Manny was there. I recall that. And they bring this big cake up. His birthday was a couple of weeks after. And, we sing happy birthday to Michael. And then Michael, I'm standing kind of in the back still with the microphone. Michael grabs a piece of cake, and hands it to this little girl guy in the audience. And then I had this idea, because I've seen these cake fights forever. Like, oh God, we're going to have a cake fight. Look out. And I'm paraphrasing because I'm not exactly sure. I said something to this effect,
Right.
Maybe a cake fight. Look out, guys. And sure enough, Michael turns to Nick and Aaron. They start kind of talking back and forth, and I couldn't hear what they were saying. And I've since talked to them about it. I forget what they told me. But basically, hit me with some cake or whatever.
Right.
So Michael hits, Michael hits Nick or Aaron, I forget which one, with some cake. Eventually, his cake starts flying. I'm like, oh my God, this is what is my life right now? I'm at Neverland with a cake fight, and there's Michael Jackson.
And you just initiated. You were the catalyst for this cake fight.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my God, I can't. What the heck? And then Michael spins around, and there's Michael Jackson in, like, he's basically decked out in what you would picture Michael Jackson concert gear. He's looking like Michael Jackson.
Just standing there.
Yeah, like da-da. And I said something. Basically, he had cake in his hand, like he was ready to launch it, but he didn't throw it at me because he didn't know me. And do I hit this stranger with cake? Right. I assume that's what's going through his head. And I just said, Michael hit me. And he said, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And he hit me with cake. And I was covered with cake, and there was just chaos. And Michael goes off to his main house, I assume, and he cleans off because we're all covered with cake. And they let me take a shower at one of the guest houses.
The bungalows there.
Yeah, one of the little
Across,
bungalows. Yeah, I don't know if there's more than one.
That's where I borrowed the
did you?
the glass from.
Yeah, he's still borrowing it.
And at that time, I had a broken arm. I broke my arm earlier in the year from arm wrestling.
Oh, wow.
And in like January, so I kind of had a half jacked up arm. Which
That's when Stallone came in and you did the over the top.
Yeah, pretty much. But my wife helped me take the shirt off my cast to get it. Nobody really knew I had a broken arm right there. I was on the tail end of getting better, but it was still I was very kind of nervous about it. But so she was there, and she helped me get take my shirt off my little broken arm. I took a shower with the broken arm at Neverland. And that was it. And I never had a photo of this. I still don't have any pics of it. But later, because iPhones weren't everywhere and whatnot, we couldn't bring cameras in. But years later, apparently fans had they filmed it. They just snuck in and filmed this thing. And videos start popping up on YouTube. And I see a video. I'm like, oh my God, is that oh my God.
So you have proof.
I have proof. I have
Lucky.
some still shots from those videos of me standing with Michael, and I can show you those later. And
That's awesome.
And
man.
I still don't have a clean shot of him hitting me with the cake. I see the before and the after. This most recent video I found, you kind of see it a little bit. And there's videos where Nick or Aaron, one of the two, come up and smear it into my face a little more just to get it all up in my eyes and nose and whatnot. But I finally saw one video where you see Michael kind of hitting me in the face. And for a while I was like, since I couldn't find a video of Michael hitting him, like, did that really happen?
Did it right? That's the mystery.
Did it happen?
The mystery of the cake.
But it was real, and it was one of the most wild, surreal moments ever. And just recently, this hasn't aired yet, but on the iHeart Countdown, Janet came in. And I've talked to Janet maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times over the years. This is the first time I've talked to her in probably 10 years, though. And I got to tell her the story of, after Michael had passed, of course,
right.
Of the cake fight and meeting her brother Michael. And it was kind of a cool moment. For me I've told that story to a ton of people, but to tell it to Janet was pretty wild.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
that's absolutely.
It's pretty
that's really
pretty nuts.
exciting.
So I'm a big Michael fan, and like Austin Brown, my buddy, who is Reeby's son. He's a great young artist as well. They've invited me, and Taj Terrell and TJ, who are Tito's sons. They've invited me to a couple of 3T.
3T.
They've invited me to do to their the Jackson Halloween party at the Encino Havenhurst estate.
Right.
I've done 2 of those, and just one time just hung out. And the last time they asked me to host part of it, which I was, of course. And I was sitting there with Taj, and he points to this spiral staircase over at the Encino house. Keep in mind it's Halloween. I'm literally dressed like Pikachu. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God,
Excellent.
this is crazy. And I'm sitting there with some of the guys, and Michael Jackson music's playing. They have the Jackson whole theme, and And he said, "You see that staircase right there? We're kind of outdoors. It was a staircase on the outside of the house, I think, if I recall. I hope I'm not making this stuff up.
I haven't been to that
I haven't
house.
done
It's the one in the Encino house,
Okay.
not too far from that Gelson's over there. He goes, "You see that staircase?" I'm like, "Yep." That was Michael's room. Spit take. And and keep in mind, I've interviewed a lot of people and been real fortunate, and I'm kind of I'm used to that. But when you tell me that's where Michael Jackson, I'm like, it's so surreal.
Yeah.
I recall standing outside that gate when my mom took us on vacation. That's where Michael Jackson lives. Oh
Yeah.
my God, snap, 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 just pictures of a gate. And then walking out, like leaving that night, walking the other side of that, going through the gate to get to my car and whatever. I recall standing on the other side as a kid, looking back. It was just
That's
very weird.
we talk about these moments on the
Yeah.
show a lot, where it's that moment where you realize, like, we're just like, what? How the heck did I get here?
Right? It's just
Right?
like Tommy was telling me the other day about you were on stage in some sort of waterfall effect. And
Well, we were at Jones Beach.
Yeah, the
And,
Jones
and,
Beach.
and the stage, the way it's set up, it's
Well,
just
that
like
was with Z100.
oh, gotcha.
I
Okay.
think
yeah.
it was, yeah.
It was a radio show with
Was
Z100.
it that or Britney? No.
Well,
maybe
we did both.
But we were
this
doing the
particular-
song "I'm Telling You This," which should have been our next single.
But I'm still mad about that. Huh?
Yeah, but we let things just roll right off the back. Water off the ducks.
But anyway, that song, it's like we're up on the chairs doing a little chair dance, and there was the fog and everything. And yeah, I mean, that's when it really hit me. And I was just, all these people and the cameras flashing, and it's like, just a little country boy. And what am I doing here? Right?
It's just the weirdest thing. It's just
It's
crazy.
like you almost want to cry a little bit, like, oh, this is so cool. But then you don't want to cry because then you won't sing right.
There's that. Oh my God! I'm sure you guys have some wild stories, man. Just nuts, and it's just like these are just some of the stories that when you tell like people back home, you like, who are you? It's just
Right.
weird, and it's just
It's almost sometimes I get hesitant even to tell my stories because it means so much to me and it's so personal that I don't ever want somebody to mock it or
Right.
to not believe it or think I'm just trying to
Name drop and
name
whatnot.
drop and
Right.
be egotistical and everything. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like this moment was actually means so much to me. So sometimes I just keep it to myself. Even to now, some of my friends are like, who I've known forever. They're like, you did what?
like, huh?
How did you not ever mention that? And I was like, oh yeah, I just yeah, that happened.
It's just why on that night with the cake fight, my wife's in the audience crying because she just knew that
What it meant to you.
Oh yeah, it was just crazy. It was just super surreal, and how can you forget that? So anytime somebody says name a moment,
That's
the moment,
it.
yeah. Well, we're going on also to like the differences between being a DJ on air and actually having to be doing like live event and having to be a personality and going from the microphone to a camera
Right.
or that like what was the difference in that aspect of it?
Like-
'Cause I feel like as an LA DJ, correct me if I'm wrong, more of those things would happen because it's such a media friendly town.
that's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess the mic is well. First of all, I guess the big thing for me is I'm just a real shy dude. I mean, I don't know if you guys. I mean, when I'm on the air, and around you guys is a little different. I've known you guys for a while, but I guess when I'm on the air, it almost gives me permission in my brain anyway to like I can do anything I want.
It's like your alter ego.
yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
It's your, what, like Beyonce has
Sasha Fierce.
Sasha-
so
yeah.
that's
So-
your Sasha Fierce.
course I
it's
knew
like,
that one.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, but like sometimes in a weird way, you kind of have to like if I go to Starbucks, if I'm just kind of in shy zone mode, which I'm generally, you almost kind of pretend like you're JoJo on the radio, like hey, what's up, guys? You hope somebody recognizes you. If they recognize you, then you're hey, what's up? Then you're instantly not
Yeah.
shy. Not that you want to. It's not a being recognized thing. It's almost like it's okay for me to speak, kind of a thing.
Right.
But it's not like as bad as what I'm making it out to be. But I'm a shy dude.
Sure.
So I guess radio's going to help me in that sense. Going to camera, you have to learn certain. I mean, yeah, we're much more visual in LA, and I guess right now in radio, if you're just a radio station right now, you're dead. But so everything is social network. If it's just part of what you do and it's part of where you put your content at, then great. But if you're just relying on the terrestrial frequency,
Right.
and no social, no Facebook, no this, which everything has a visual component to it, YouTubes and all that,
Right.
then you're not going to go really far. It just kind of is what it is. But I had to get used to that visual side of it real quick. I've never been super comfortable. I'm not God's gift to look, I'm not the sexiest guy.
I don't know.
I mean,
It's open to interpretation.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. But but I just I think I've relied on trying to be just interesting. I want to be the biggest compliment somebody can give to me is he's an interesting guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think being hot or sexy or cool fades.
Right.
Being interesting or being unique stands the test of time. And I think that's, like I said earlier, where some of the things I've done, the branding, almost by accident, but I kind of, I knew I wasn't, like I'm not going to be Brad Pitt, but I can I could just, focus on being unique and really trying to stand down and do your own thing. And the first thing, one of the ways Michael influenced me, and this will all make sense, is, I didn't sing, but when I heard Michael Jackson speak, I thought, man, people don't speak like that. Hey, it's Michael Jackson. And everybody else is like, hey, what's going on?
Right.
And in radio back in the day, at least I thought you had to have a deep voice to be in radio. And here I had this squeaker. And mine is, granted, I'm older now, so it's a little deeper, but it's not like, there are much deeper radio voices.
Tonight
on
CBS. Right.
So when I heard Michael speak, and I thought, man, it just clicked like a light bulb. Like, man, this is not only not a negative, it's his selling point.
Right.
It's like his. So at that point, you realize sometimes what you perceive as a negative could be your biggest asset, and that
So
kind
true.
of floored me. Kind of just lit a fire in me. Like, oh my God, just be unique, and
Right.
that sells.
Yep.
And it's easier because it's you. So I kind of let that fuel me, and I think that's kind of what drove me to just to be this unique brand. You might not be the prettiest or whatever, but just as long as you do your thing.
Yeah, nobody else can be you.
I
But
think
you.
that's a great message, and that's I think that's really good advice too for anyone trying to become an entertainer, or anyone that wants to do something in the public eye. Is don't worry about trying to be something else or someone else.
I used to get so
True.
frustrated
Be you.
with agencies and management, and like whenever I'd go interviews for representation and things, they're like, "So who are you most like? Who do you look like?
Why'd you
Who
hate
are
that?
you? What kind of celebrity do you want to be like?" And I was like, I want to be me. I don't want to be
Right?
any of those. And it was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like they couldn't think far enough outside the box.
Because when they pitch you, they go, he's sort of like...
she's just like, yeah.
He's like Ryan Seacrest, but this,
Uh-huh.
or he's a mixture of Seacrest, or maybe not even, he's da 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 da.
You're like,
And-
no, I'm
not, and it's just... It's just you want to, but I get it. That's how they kind of package you when they go into meetings, because they want that elevator pitch.
Right.
He's so and so and so and so. Oh,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Well, they're
he's-
giving you points that you recognize, right?
True,
So,
I get that. But to Eric's point,
right.
I get their point. But man, you just want to do your thing. And I guess another phrase. This was I don't know who told me this, but do you long enough until they will pay you to do you. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
and granted, don't let that stop you from growing and evolving into, like, if you realize, hey, maybe this isn't working, I need to kind of take a slight left turn here, a slight right. That's
Right.
fine. That's growth and kind of creating your brand.
Right.
But to just copy somebody else, it's going to be a long road, and most of
Yeah.
the time it doesn't really work out that well. So.
absolutely.
Being a shy individual, being out and about, and you do run into fans from time to time, right? So, what was craziest fan interaction? I know
Kirsten Dunst.
you do this on the show as well, right? Crazy
Yep.
fan interactions, right?
I got one.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, this is the one that's this happened years ago. I'm backstage at a show. It was whatever. It was a concert, and I'm back there going to host this show. And I'm walking around. We're doing the side check and saying hi to the band, I'm sure, and whatever. And security calls up and says, "Hey, there's a girl that wants to meet JoJo." So I'm just walking back there. I'm backstage with probably people from the radio station. And the security guy comes up with this young girl. She's probably 14, 15, 16, whatever. Super nice, polite, smiling. "You're JoJo?" Yeah. How you doing? "You're JoJo?" "Yeah." And you start thinking, man, I must be the man, "You're JoJo?" "Yeah." She rears back, slaps me like seeing stars, like
in the face.
in the face.
What?
Hard, just rails me in the face. Like, seeing stars. Oh my God. But she still has this like nice grin on her face. And we're all like, like, what? And of course, why'd you do that? And she goes, once again, with like she didn't do anything wrong. "Well, I just wanted you to remember me."
Are you serious? She slapped you in the face just so you can go on shows just like this and tell
And it
the
worked.
story.
But
and
don't do it again.
worked.
But she that is 1,000% true. And the security guard, of course, takes her out. We didn't do anything. I guess we could have. I didn't even think about it. Cops never came to my
You probably
mind.
could have broken her arm, or tossed her in
Self-defense from a poor 14-year-old.
put her in a dump truck, send her to Texas.
Oh my God! But that's
Take it a turn.
Nothing will top that. I've had crazy encounters with this and that and whatever.
That's
just wow.
I
I mean, who does that?
sympathize. I actually Eric was sitting right next to me when that happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you had that happen to you?
Yes.
Somebody hit you?
We were signing autographs. They're kind of moving through the line, signing. Hey,
Bam.
and then I'm
Do
like,
don't make this a thing, people.
I look
First
at
and foremost.
I look at Eric and I'm like, and he's just like, what? And then, like you said, it's like she.
And yet
everything
you
was
go
fine,
into that persona
right?
of being like, "Thank you so much for buying the album."
And so she takes it, she slides it over to Eric, and Eric goes, "No, I'm not
I was
signing
like,
up
absolutely
for you."
not. You just slapped him in the face.
Meanwhile, Tony, remember Tony, our bodyguard?
Oh, right.
He's behind us, just like
Thank God, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
somebody
Thanks for the one
do
time.
something. But yeah, so yeah,
But we
don't
were all just so dumbfounded. So
It's just crazy. Like, why
you
do
don't
that?
expect that for
No,
sure.
I just
Don't make it a thing.
Yeah, no, let's not make
Please.
that a thing at all. I mean, I've been told some stories by some artists that are just wild. From I've seen moms, push kids
Well,
over
moms
fences
are the
and
most
under.
terrifying.
Oh, they're
Sign my baby, things like that.
Oh my God, we had Enrique Iglesias was coming into the Kiss studio, the building you guys used to see me in at when we first met.
Okay.
And now when you pull into a garage, like everybody's garage has a little infrared light where you slide your hand by it, the garage will stop.
It'll stay.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Or
right,
stop
right.
or go up, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I guess all
Oh,
they're a little
God,
different.
I'm actually getting nervous.
Oh yeah. Well, everything. Nobody was harmed during this.
Okay.
But Enrique pulled in, and by the way, you remember the singer Rico Suave? Gerardo?
Oh, yeah.
He was driving the truck. Side note, so he was driving. He was like the A&R guy. So it was Rico Suave, Gerardo, and Enrique Iglesias. They were,
Hilarious.
They were pulling into our
The
garage.
dynamic duo.
Yeah, no, that's just so random. He has nothing to do with this story really, but still. But he was pulling in, and they were going to shut the garage doors to bring him up to the station. And there's some fans outside, and I guess this lady wanted to meet Enrique so bad that she held her baby underneath the garage to get him to stop. But we didn't have the infrared thing. So they had to rush over, and they're tapping like, And granted, I would like to think she would have pulled the kid back, and she probably would have, but you never know. Sorry if I bumped the table there. But who does that? You don't put your baby.
That's your instinct.
Yeah. I mean,
As a mom?
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
When you see Rico Suave and Enrique
Iglesias.
together,
Oh, my God.
you put the baby
I guess,
in.
yeah,
Dude,
it's
this is
just
bad
too much
That's what
to
you do.
comprehend.
Enrique got me booed once. Enrique got me booed. Stop me where you want. But I was in Vegas once, and I didn't.
Really quick, I'm just going to check. How long do we have? Let's just say we keep talking. Generally, we've gone for like an hour 20, hour 30. If we went for 2, is that doable, camera wise?
Oh, we're stopping? Great, I'm peeing.
Just can we take a quick break?
Done.
Sorry.
Yeah,
and we'll pick up. We're going to pick up on
Enrique got me
the
booed.
Enrique got me booed.
Enrique, we're in Vegas, right? And this wasn't Enrique's fault, but this is how I got booed once. I don't think it was anything to do with me per se, but apparently Enrique has he's late to everything. Like he just runs late for
A
everything.
man after my
Jojo,
own heart.
I'm sorry about today. I was 5 minutes late. It
Oh,
was weekend
son.
drivers. I know that's the whole reason why you're saying this story is because I was 5 minutes
Boo,
late.
Shut up.
Eric. Boo.
No, you're good.
What a weird way to make it about
shame.
Oh my God, Eric, whatever. No, Enrique, I didn't realize that was his thing. Like hours late. Like he just shows up, and I guess maybe he just
That's his thing.
It's just his thing.
That can't be your thing.
Let's
Enrique.
hire him.
Yeah,
That'd
or
be
maybe
his
like
thing.
maybe there's a theory of letting the audience kind of get ready,
Sure,
But
sure.
we were in Vegas, and it wasn't like an Enrique
They
show.
really get ready in
Yeah,
Vegas.
well, it wasn't like Britney or the Backstreet Show or whatever. It was like, hey, let's do a concert, give away some tickets for Enrique in Vegas, come do a show real quick. It wasn't like he had a residency there at the time,
Right.
or a residency. So, so I'm walking back, to go. It was a Kiss FM thing, and they were. I don't know what was happening. Me and Valentine, I think it was me and Val, who now does mornings for another My FM down the hall. We're walking back. We've just been drinking and having fun, just noodling, whatever. I see Enrique in the dressing room. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, cool. I'm thinking everything's just fine. So I walk up to, backstage, and they say, hey, why don't Jojo, you and Val go out there and tell the crowd Enrique's coming right up. Sure, no problem. Grab the mic, go out there. And keep in mind, these, like I said, this wasn't I bought tickets to Enrique, like been waiting for 6 months to go see. This is like people that we gave tickets to as winners, but they really wanted to kind of gamble too, and they're kind of half drunk. We put a
Right.
few in, like they probably went through the hotel and said, hey, do you want to see Enrique? We got some couple of seats here because we didn't give away all the.
Now they're just stewing in a pen.
They're stewing, waiting. And I didn't realize before we walked out there that they had been told, hey, Enrique's coming up for about the last hour.
Yeah.
And they're just they hate us at this point, you know. So I walk out there and me and Val, hey guys, what's up? It's JoJo. Enrique is coming right up. Oh, you saw him. Oh my God, what the?
What did we do?
Yeah. I mean, they just they let us have it. We walked backstage like, all right, what's up? And they were all just howling backstage like, gotcha, because they knew that we were going to get just railed by.
Oh,
this
they
audience.
did that on purpose?
Oh yeah, they set us up. They knew the audience was just hating. Like Rick Dees had been out there earlier. Enrique is coming up soon. He probably started the whole thing off, and he left, and we got left picking up the scraps there. But Enrique's got me booed once, so thanks, Enrique
Thanks,
Iglesias.
Enrique Iglesias.
That's my Enrique stories.
So the average JoJo listener,
Right.
what do you think they would be surprised to learn about you?
The average JoJo listener, what are they? I think due to social network, I've unveiled some of this, but the shyness is probably one of the things that would come to mind. Like
That's the main
I would
thing.
never have thought.
Yeah, it's like on the air, it would. Some of the things you do, or anyone really does on the air, it would suggest the exact opposite, because there is zero shyness for the most part on the air. But off air, I'm just super quiet. I will. Like I was at this. I did a. Do you want to do the red carpet someplace? Which I'm always. The reason I don't do the red carpet is not because I'm shy. It's because I don't think anyone wants to talk to me. That's the reason. I
understand.
It's just because I'm on the other side, and sometimes you have to reject guests, and I just never want to reject a guest when they're near me. Like,
Right.
No, they're not really. I can't use them because I know if I'm waiting for somebody and I have another guest in front of me that I'm probably not going to air. It's like one of those favorite things.
You don't want it, right?
Then you don't want to lose that one for that one you're not going to air anyway.
Right,
And it's just
right.
awful. And I hate being a part. Red carpets are just terrible. I hate doing them. I hate hosting them. They're awful.
I can relate to that.
Oh, this just the worst. But so I picture that in my head as because I did this thing for Stand Up to Cancer last weekend, which was a great event. But they said, "Do I want to do the red carpet?" I'm like, eh. But Kiss FM was over there doing interviews, so I just went. I walked in as if I was going to be one of the hosts, and I just said hi to the Kiss crew, and I did something with Kiss, just because we were promoting this event. It's a great event. It's amazing. But I just didn't want to do that red carpet thing because I don't, I'm like, I don't think they want to talk to me. That's my in my head. But I'm really shy. I'm not going to go out. Hey, let's party. Let's get crazy. I'm a quiet, boring, super boring dude with just great stories.
But you really, you turn it on though when you're on the mic, and I've got to say,
And right now I'm not shy now. It's like I feel super comfortable, but it is a different person when I'm out there.
well, if we were on the red carpet, I think I would choose you over most of the others out there. Personally, so
Thank you very
I know
much.
you feel that way, but I think coming from an artist's point of view, I would have to say you're probably one of the more interesting personalities that we would interview with. So
I think a lot of celebs
Take
come
that
up,
for what it's worth.
Thank you. Yeah, I think a lot of celebs, if they've thought about it, once the brand grows and grows, it'll hit because when the brand grows and I think that what I've got is, how some artists one hit wonder gone.
yeah,
And the artists that take a while to build, once they hit, man, it's on because you got the fan base grew up with you,
Right.
And you got just a lifetime of stories and just
Right.
things happen. That's me. That second one. So when this brand hits to a certain level, where let's say I get a gig doing XYZ, I'm hosting this or that, or I got a new whatever.
right.
When that starts to get out in the stories I've got, I think I have more to say than the one hit wonders, the one hit wonder radio people, so to
Exactly,
speak.
yeah.
But then again, sometimes you just got to be pretty and lucky, and I don't know if I'm pretty.
Pretty
There's
lucky.
that pretty lucky. Yeah.
Well, now that you have this 20 years and you started, not a father, obviously,
Right.
And now you have
One daughter. Who
one
is
daughter,
10, yeah.
a 10-year-old. I was on your social media, maybe she's with some friends. Usually.
Yeah, she has a buddy that they actually went to Disneyland. They
That's
told
what
people
I'm-
they were twins.
Oh, yeah. I was like, so now that you have a 10-year-old, and how has that changed?
I've never been asked that.
But professionally and personally, yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
I think professionally, when I first, in my head, when Dina was pregnant, we tried to hide, like me and Dina would I wouldn't tell people I was married because in my head I thought, man, I want to be the cool guy.
That's the pop culture thing to do.
Yeah,
yes.
and it was so stupid. Finally, my boss said, "Jackass, who do you think you are, Brad Pitt? Tell him you're married." Because Dina said at least she didn't want people to think that. Oh, JoJo met this girl and all of a sudden she's pregnant. She wanted to be and it's
Like, no, I would travel to Philly.
She wanted to be an
to
honest woman.
Dallas,
She's affiliate. Yes, and I, it wasn't and it was nothing to do with me being ashamed of being married. It was a career choice.
Correct. Yeah.
A dumb career choice because nobody's listening to me because I'm good looking or single. I mean, but maybe I thought that.
But that was the mindset.
It really
think,
was,
with
you know.
publicity and everything back in that time.
It really, and it still is to this day in a lot of ways, which I get it. But Usher came in and he had this album called Confessions, back, a couple
Right.
years back. And I decided I wanted to, and I liked Usher a lot. And I've done a couple interviews with him at the time. And I just felt, I'm doing this piece with him. I decided, I knew I was going to, say this, announce that, hey, I'm married and my wife's having a baby, we're doing this thing. And I did it with Usher. I said, now that we're talking about confessions, I have a confession to make. And Usher's like, God, you look nervous. I'm like, I am. And I don't get, when it comes to those type things, I don't really get nervous that much anymore.
Yeah.
But I was just like, and I confessed around Usher's confessions. It's kind of weird, but kind of funny at the same time. That me and Dina were married, of course, and we're having a kiddo. And then of course off we went, and it felt like very liberating in a way, So,
Yeah,
so that's one way it changed, where people knew that I was married, so they got that out. Then I was going to be a dad, and of course we did I was checking in with the radio station as Dina was giving birth, not like as she was giving birth, but. Excuse me, but right, it was just kind of a big buildup, kind of like
You didn't do like a broadcasting live
not
from
that,
the
no,
birth.
just tattoos.
just tattooed, yeah. So that's changed, and now
Sorry.
and now Sophie kind of gets what I do. She really gets what I do now. She's 10, but
Right.
early, she was younger. I think one time I asked her, I said, "Hey Sophie, I'm interviewing Justin Bieber today. Do you want to go meet Justin Bieber?" And she was super young. She's like, I don't know. I could use some more batteries. She goes, but I could use some more batteries for my Justin Bieber toothbrush. I'm like, all right, batteries for the toothbrush it is.
The priorities of a child,
And now
a wee child.
Now she's met so many people now, or quite a few, like Ariana kissed her on the cheek. Selena Gomez. She just met Marshmello the other day. Because it was her and her buddy.
Marshmallow's the DJ with the big
Marshmallow head. Yeah, great guy. But she was with her buddy who you thought was the twin. But they pretend like they're twins at times. But Marshmello walks in and Sophie and her buddy's name is Noe, and they look up and he goes, "How you doing?" And they were like, "Oh God, he talks!" So it freaked her out. He talked. And she, of course, there's some celebs that know her pretty well, like like Sabrina Carpenter knows her, really well, and the girls of Fifth Harmony always say hi to Sophie, and
Oh, that's sweet.
and it just so she gets that now, and I think with somebody she really likes, like somebody she's like, oh my God, when they say, hey, you're dad, oh my, they start talking about me, I'm like, now I'm scoring dad. I can tell you how cool I am. And
You're cool now.
Hey, Sophie, people, I'm a cool dad. Yeah, whatever, But
Right.
when somebody else says, hey,
Where are
you're
my
dad,
batteries?
Yeah. Get my batteries, dad. But she thinks that's pretty cool. She wants to meet. The one person she wants to meet is the one of the people I don't have any contact.
We'll do it. We'll
Yeah.
totally do
Fine,
it.
JoJo.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
fine.
we
Yeah,
will.
she can
And
meet-
I'll be 5 minutes late.
Yeah. Eric and Tommy from North. It'd be fine if you guys can do that. She wants to meet Grant Gustin from The Flash. He plays The Flash on the WB
all
series.
right.
So that's who I'm.
Well,
now I
let's
got to
hope
meet.
he cuts an album soon.
Do we
I know,
know?
right?
Do we know anyone that might?
If anybody knows Grant
Let's.
Gustin.
Yeah. We'll see if we know anyone.
Yeah,
too.
I did a
mean,
thing. Yeah,
You'll get to him before we.
Yeah,
go,
I do some work on KTLA doing the morning entertainment stuff from time to time.
Okay.
And which I really love doing that. Except for the 4 a.m. alarm clock, it's vicious, awful. But I had I was going to interview somebody. Oh no, I told the ladies up at KTLA. I said, even if I'm not here, if you have Grant Gustin or somebody from The Flash, just let me know. And they called me and said that they had like one of the other characters, I forget which one, and I probably would have pulled Sophie up there, but Sophie's like, yeah, it was like the first or second day of school.
Yeah.
So like, if it's Grant, I'll pull you out of college graduation to meet him at this point. But she gets it, and she I think she put on one of her when kids go to school, you put the little first day of school. My favorite song is that I want to be and she put I want to be a radio. So whether she part of me is like yeah, part of me is like oh God,
Right.
yeah. So but I think I guess that's a good answer to the question. Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's that.
Actually.
So all right.
That's so sweet.
Is this the vicious part where you guys attack me now?
No,
or-
no,
Oh God, here
no.
we go.
We're just gonna kind of moving on, looking at some of your other credits that you're adding to your repertoire, right?
gotcha.
So for example, we talked about the iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
How did that come about? And
The that happened just this. I've been doing Kiss FM for forever, and they just during our last contract negotiation, they came up. My boss John came up to me and said, "Hey, I want you to what are your thoughts on this? I would like you to host the iHeart Countdown." And loved it. It was they did it a different way before I logged. They did it was great. Don't get me wrong, but it was more of a script based where they'd send an artist a script and whatever, and then they would edit it back at Premiere. Premiere being the syndication company attached to iHeart. But I decided to take it and the artist comes in, we record X amount of breaks, and it's just me and them chatting. There's no script at all. I edit it myself because I'm just obsessed with that certain sound.
So fast at it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's
crazy.
And I just love editing. Then I send it to Premiere, and then they add all the bells and whistles and all that stuff around it. And then they'll chop a few things for time from here and there. But it's just they approached me about doing that and adding that to my whole little thing. And I'm a huge fan of it. And this iHeart Countdown, it's a top 20 songs. It's a 2-hour show. It's playing on all the pop stations, iHeart pop stations in the country, which is, or most of them, I think. I think we're on about over 100 stations. I know that.
Okay.
Including New York, Z100, LA, KISS, Miami, Y100. Yeah, on and on and on, and a few international affiliates. I know there's Beijing is one of them because I just went to Beijing the other day for the countdown, which was a crazy trip.
So it's all terrestrial, or
I think it's on the app as well. So it's on the iHeartRadio app too. So you can and it's just once like right now there's the young band named Heffron Drive on it right now because they won our Macy's iHeartRadio Rising Star contest and they opened up our iHeart Festival. So part of it was they're going to be on the countdown and they're just great guys. But so if you go onto the app. Once we load up the new countdown for the week, it just rotates. It plays continually, But it's also on terrestrial stations around the country too. So it's everywhere as far anywhere we can put it. And I went to Beijing to do a piece. They invited me to come out there because it's airing in Beijing on a station called Metro Radio out there. Random Beijing story. I flew out there on a Thursday, came back to LA on a Sunday. So Thursday to Sunday, Beijing. The flight was so quick. I mean, everything was so fast. It's hard to say I really experienced much, but it was really cool. But I left Beijing when I was coming back. I left Beijing Sunday, 5 p.m. So Sunday, 5 p.m. I'm on the plane going back to LA. Fly 11 hours. Land in LA Sunday, 3 p.m.
So you're gonna go
Time
back
travel.
in
So
time.
I went exactly what I did. It's just my mind's like how did that what? And we're all doing the math like how is this possible? Carry the one. It's just so I flew 11 hours. I landed 2 hours before I took off. That's just so random. So anyway, that's that. So,
But you just keep
that's-
going and just get younger and
right.
younger.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
younger.
the time.
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
The flux capacitor. That's what
amen.
that is.
What a great movie that was. By the way.
That's so
Oh my
good.
God. Get me going with that.
I think it might be time.
We're getting close to it. Before we get, we've got a surprise coming up for you. But I'd like to talk a little bit about your appearances in film and TV. Some of your greatest
All
hits,
awful movies.
as far as that goes.
Which one should I just start or?
What was the most awkward one that you did? I guess like the one that you were just like, oh man, this is I have no idea what I'm doing here. I don't know what's going on. Like
The one I did one of the Bring It On series. I played just me, and my line was Brittany Allen just farted for Hayden Pantieres. She was a cheerleader and she farted in her dream. And Brittany Allen just farted, and she wakes up. So I was like, what the heck? So it's funny.
that's a good line.
God, I think they paid me like $1,000 for that, or something.
There you go. Fart jokes
I know,
sell,
right?
man.
But my boss picks me. My boss John, he goes because he picks up the paper the next day. It's like it was the biggest some on, like debut for a like whatever it was. The movie made a lot of money.
Okay.
And he goes, he shows me the dollar amount look what this movie made. I'm like, oh God, how much do you get? I'm like, about $1,000 before taxes. So yeah, God, so, which is
Well,
whatever.
it's a nice day.
It's a fun day, but I think the crazy one for me was there's an artist. Do you know the R&B singer Marcus Houston?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, he was he was promoting something, whatever it was. And I said, hey, he was talking about some movie, and he produces movies with Chris Stokes, he's known for You Got Served, the dance movie.
And Chris was their manager.
I think so. I don't know the
Immatur's
whole
manager,
story.
I
Yeah,
think. But something
like
along
that.
those lines. Yeah.
I don't know all the backstory on that, but yeah. But I'm talking to Marcus Houston. He goes, Jojo, he's promoting this. I said, hey, Marcus, do you guys do any horror movies? He goes, I don't know, we might be. I said, dude, this is gonna sound crazy, but if you ever do a horror movie, I want to be killed in a horror movie, but I don't want to be just like a stunt double where I walk in and I just effects and they I'm just a dead body basically. I want to say something enough to where the audience goes, oh, that sucks, oh man, So he goes, all right, let me see what I got. So about a week or so later, I'm thinking nothing's going to happen, and he calls me back and he says, hey, I got something for you, and it was a movie. I forget what. I think the movie now is called it's called I think it's called No Vacancy. You can get it on Amazon Prime. Don't buy it; it's terrible.
Let's make a point to look that up.
Yeah,
No Vacancy.
I think it's No Vacancy. If that's the wrong title, I'll let you know. But it's No Vacancy. And I get my head chopped off in the movie.
Oh wow.
And but when I went to go get my to get the head chopped off, they have to make a plaster.
When I went to go get my head
yeah.
chopped off,
You know,
It's amazing.
that's all
It was a
they
tough
What's the
were.
scene
situation.
today? Oh, you're gonna head chop. Oh, great.
Great,
All right.
done.
But they put a plastic picture, the big mold on my head, and I've seen all these horror stories like claustrophobic feeling, which I wasn't that claustrophobic. I felt pretty good about it. They didn't have to put the straws in my nose. I could breathe through this. The only thing that went wrong was when they go to pull the plaster off my face after it dries. Apparently, they didn't put enough Vaseline on my eyelashes, so it starts pulling. And so it took, and I had an interview scheduled later that day. And I'll tell you with who in a second. So they go to pull it off, and my eyelash. I think I pulled one or so out, like ding. And they're small, but they hurt. And so I'm like, and we just work them out one at a time, and it took forever. And I was late for my interview with Mac Miller, who just passed away
wow.
recently. So, but he was. I'll make it quick and won't get. I'll keep it all on the up and up. But he was super sweet. He said, "Dude,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. I'll be waiting here. Everything's fine." So I was late for the Mac interview, but he was super nice, super kind.
Yeah.
And I still have a recording of me. When we set up for an interview, we're like, "Hey man, sorry about that. I was late." And he was like, "Oh, dude, don't worry about it. I still have all that recording. I haven't played it because it's just
that's
too
nice.
soon and whatnot." But
Seemed like a really sweet guy.
Very sweet
I
dude.
never had the pleasure to meet him, but all the interactions that I hear about, nothing but kind words.
that's, I mean, like I met him maybe 3, 4, whatever times, and just everything you're hearing is 100% true. Just kind, sweet, and it was just awful to hear that. So that's when they asked me about Mac, that's the story that came to mind. I was just running behind because I was getting my eye ripped off. He's like, "Dude, don't worry about it. We're all good." All right, so that's that. So that was my most awkward one. Well, as far as getting your head, it's been some other
Well,
weird.
congratulations that you got to be in a horror film
Yeah,
and get
isn't
your
it
head
crazy?
cut off.
And, and I
That's
got
an
machete.
achievement.
Oh,
good.
And
Even
that
better.
was weird because
Wait, in the same movie?
yeah, that's the move. Because when they went whack, they put the head down, and of course, editing. It looks like my head hits the floor.
Yeah.
And I was in that movie with Dallas Austin. I mean Dallas.
The wrestler?
Lovato, Demi's sister.
Demi,
Lovato.
right. Okay. Yeah.
So she was in the movie with me, which is somebody, one person I knew, and a few other people I knew in there. But like, she was super nice, and I remember meeting her there, and she was great.
So that was a pleasant
And
experience.
very pleasant. It was
You in the future, you would do more horror movies where your head comes off.
I would, I think the only thing about movies and the whole the acting thing, which I used to want to try the acting bit, I just hate the audition process. It's just, I hate it.
It's the worst.
And I just, and usually when I did that movie, I was kind of jealous of some of the other actors, although I guess maybe they were jealous of me in a way when you think about it. Like we'd finish the movie or we'd finish that day's scenes and they'd go off, "Hey, you want to get some food?" You want to go, no, I got to go do 8 radio shows.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
so I guess, I say I was jealous of them. I wanted to be doing what I was doing, but it was just so exhausting. So if I'm going to do a project,
Right.
it's got to.
You want to have the time and have
gotta
the
be good.
experience of being able to go with the cast and hang out after
Yeah,
and
it
do.
was-
Yeah.
Totally.
No, I get that. I totally get that.
And like I from time to time I'll appear on KTLA, but if I'm going to do something like in the future, I want to get a permanent TV slot somewhere.
Yeah.
I like to be consistent with my stuff, and I think that's how to communicate with an audience is be there every day. But it's just tough. Hey, waking up at 4 a.m, going doing this bit, and then everybody else goes home, and I'm on the air. I'm 10 o'clock. I'm still on this. I'm just getting
The
up at 10
hardest
p.m.
working
Yeah.
man in the radio
Oh,
business.
it's
Yes.
crazy. But it's pretty lame. I'm not complaining about it because it's what I want to do, but it's just, it can be, that part can be exhausting. So to do a side movie project, it better be, I want it to be really good, not just something
You,
stupid.
you
now.
hear that,
Yeah.
folks? It better be good if you're
Better
bringing
be
it to
good.
JoJo.
That's right.
Make it
Something-
good.
At least not suck
And
too
fun.
bad. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, well,
We are now going to reward your movie efforts. Your head being cut off and all that.
being beheaded and
Being
everything.
beheaded. We're going to reward that with a fun thing that we like to call 7 questions, 7 questions, 7 questions. Get 4, you win.
yes, so good. And you're asking, what do you win? What do you win?
Well-
You get a vintage No Authority T-shirt that my mom found a box of in the attic.
No kidding. All right. Sign me up for this. All right.
And if you get 5 questions, we'll
We'll sign it.
Shut the hell. All right. Let's go. I'm ready.
It has our faces on it.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah, and we won't slap you. If you get 7, we'll slap you.
Oh my God. Perfect.
go.
So 4, I win. 5 autographed. 3 just ridiculed and shame. Okay.
Yes.
And shamed.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, are you ready for question number 1?
Yes,
for
I
7
think.
questions.
Take us away, Eric.
What was the number 1 song in America the day No Authority self-titled album was released, July 18th, 2000?
July 18th, 2000.
This is a really hard one.
These are hard, and we've only had one guest ever get it without a clue.
Tell me what you want, Spice Girls?
No.
Bob Hansen?
No.
July 18th, 2000.
It's so okay. So, clue.
So we'll do a clue. So if you're going to have you're going to light a cigar, you might strike this on a.
Oh, Matchbox 20.
Matchbox 20.
And the
Not
song
broken, but-
is.
Oh my God. Oh God.
You were about to say it. Yes.
Yep.
Keep going.
Ben Benut.
Not broken, but
Unbreakable.
bent.
Bent.
Ben, God,
Bent.
freaking hell.
It's
Jesus.
okay.
Well, no, I mean
okay.
that was
a tough-
when we
that's a
Googled,
tough-
I was
that-
like
that's a
Matchbox
pretty-
20. I forgot they
That's
existed.
a
my
pretty
God.
no, that's a pretty obscure song. Matchbox 20 had some.
But
some
it was number
bigger
1
hits.
for like 2 weeks.
When was
July 18th, 2000.
when I guess Spice Girls? What era was that? When was that?
Spice Girls?
That was like 99,
98.
99.
Okay, gotcha. A
98.
little
and
lucky.
then Hanson was like
Maybe
big
03 or
No, Hanson Umbop? That was like 98.
really? Okay, gotcha. All right.
You're gonna go back in time.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't get a point for that. All right.
No, it's okay. Moving on. Question
right.
2.
All right.
Who? And this one is pretty easy. You should get it.
Oh God.
This is a pretty easy one. Who is your all-time favorite guest from Kiss on Kiss FM?
My all-time favorite. Oh, guys. Well, these guys know authority.
Oh,
you guys,
nailed
uh,
it. You
I
got
mean,
it.
nailed it.
Right.
They were just phenomenal.
Yes.
And there
Okay,
was-
there you go. You got
all right,
one.
so
Perfect.
that's a no-brainer there, of course.
one.
You could do this one.
Okay. All right. What hit TV show was Stephanie Germanotta in before she was widely known as Lady Gaga?
Oh, wait, oh God. Well, clearly not American Horror Story. That's after. Oh God. Why am I'm going to be ridiculed and shamed for not knowing this.
I didn't know this until a couple of days ago, actually.
I forgot I knew it.
And he didn't know it.
She was on a TV show before she became Lady Gaga.
I'll give you a hint. I believe she was 15.
Was it something like some random? What the heck? I don't know.
The show was on HBO.
Austin Powers?
You're gonna be surprised.
What is it? I don't know it.
The Sopranos.
Sopranos.
She was on The
She
Sopranos?
played.
Sopranos.
She played a girlfriend.
What was the
love
story
interest.
of she was on a couple episodes.
And so the kid, the boy, the son,
Right.
dated her or something like that. Anyway, but then they also kind of in real life dated.
I did not
apparently.
know that.
But I was listening to him because I was listening to you know Patrick Renna. You're killing me, Smalls.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So he started a podcast called You're Killing Me. So I've been listening to that. He's got like I think 3-4 episodes now, and so he was talking to one of his friends who happened to be the actor, and the actor was telling a story about how he was in Europe with his wife, and then runs into someone who's like, oh yeah, something about Lady Gaga being his girlfriend, like right in front of his wife, and he's like, wait, what? So he learned that the girl from The Sopranos was Lady Gaga at that moment. He didn't even realize it. He didn't even know
because she wasn't Lady Gaga.
because she wasn't Lady
What
Gaga.
the
So he was
heck?
just like, oh wait, but it was really awkward because now this person's saying, oh yeah, you guys dated and so he's just like,
Whoops.
but then he's like, but then I was like, well, heck yeah, I dated Lady Gaga. So,
Like, what? His wife like, huh?
All right, question number 4.
So
7 questions.
I have 3 questions. I've got 1 right.
you've got
Yeah, you're
one so
fine.
far. It's okay.
It's all
It's
right.
okay.
It's gonna happen.
It can happen.
When Googling your name, what's the most popular question asked about you?
How old am I?
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay.
2.
Got 2. All right.
Sorry.
In the time of pagers, when someone paged you 143, what did that mean?
Can you turn upside down? I love you.
Nailed it.
Yes. I knew that. I wasn't even looking at
I
it
was a
there.
little concerned because you said turn it upside down.
What's the one that you turn? Well,
That-
hello
that's-
was a
Hello.
that was
Hello
boobless.
or boobs or
boobs.
whatever. Yeah.
Pagers. God, it seemed like a great
Did you
idea.
have a
at the time.
pager?
I did.
I love
Did you
my
ever have a
pager.
2A?
With the flip up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one.
Greg Lawley got me a 2A.
That's the one with I'm thinking of the sidekick.
No, the one
Well,
that comes
because
up,
it was a two-way first, and then Sidekick bought it and turned it into.
Okay.
the one that flips open, and you can play Battleship.
I don't know if I know what I don't know if I had
have
that.
one.
I had
That was
the
too fancy
T-Mobile
for me.
Sidekick. I thought the Sidekick was it was amazing.
like the best.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was awesome.
They were all basically leashes. Okay.
Okay, so I'm okay.
Weren't they?
I wasn't looking at Eric for that.
No, it's fine.
For that. Okay.
It's all good. Is it my turn? Okay. Question number 6. How quickly can you name this influential celebrity?
Okay.
Give you some clues.
All right.
He's 5'9". Do you know it?
He's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
He's
I'm sorry. He was 5'9".
He was 5'9".
He was 5'9". That's 3 clues. And one.
He was 5'9". Royce to 5'9".
No.
Hint number 2.
His show aired for 2 weeks on ABC, commercial free, due to lack of sponsorship. It
ABC.
continued on, but when it started,
Very first 2 weeks.
it was commercial free because they did not have sponsors yet.
It's not Seacrest because he's not 5'9". He's just about my size, I think. Or is it Seacrest?
And he was
He was
5'9".
5'9". The gentleman is no longer with us.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you meant he grew.
He's gotten much. He's much taller now.
Okay. So 5'9", aired for 2 weeks, no sponsorship. He's no longer with us.
Next clue.
All right.
Next clue. His first musical guest who sang live, by the way, was Jerry Lee Lewis.
Oh, would that be Ed? No. You were saying no.
I didn't say anything.
Ed Sullivan?
Close.
That's a good guess.
Good guess.
That's a
Good
good
guess.
guess. Who would your next guest be?
Ed Sullivan.
I can give you another hint. American band.
Oh, Dick Clark.
Dick Clark.
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. All right. I've met his son Rack before, Rack Clark, and
Rock?
or Rack. I think it was Richard Allen Clark, which
he goes by
I guess
Rack?
he goes by Rack. I've
Interesting.
met him a few times. He seemed like a nice dude. Never gave me a good hosting gig though, so whatever.
So we have 3.
Okay.
3
sort
questions.
of 3.
Is that 3? 3 correct.
Three.
So I
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
get this last one right.
So 4 to win the shirt. one more to win the shirt.
One more to win the shirt.
Okay.
Oh God.
You got this.
You got this. You got this.
Why do I want this shirt that's been buried in your closet for 10 years so bad?
What was the number 1 song in America the month that you launched your XM satellite radio show? September 11th, 2011.
September 11th, 2011.
Sorry,
Just
September
September.
2011.
Just September 2011. All of September.
So
When I
number
lo-
1 for the month.
See, when we launched the XM radio, I mean, well,
Your XM show.
I'm forgetting what XM show I launched. What was the number 1 song?
September 2011.
She's British.
So 2011, a big song, British.
She is British.
She's British. What would she be?
She wasn't a Spice Girl.
Wasn't a Spice Girl, no. Give me a second. Don't hit the buzzer on me yet.
Okay.
God, you guys, these are tough.
These are tough. These are always.
Do all the guests
these
get
are
the tough ones? You guys just jab
Oh
me
yeah,
hard.
yeah. We're not just.
we don't
We're not
cater.
just. We're not stabbing you.
Okay, so September 2011, British number 1 song. Was it a massive song, like super massive?
Huge song.
I think overtook the Beatles.
So we're not talking a Mariah Carey thing.
She's British.
Yeah. That would I think she'd go British every now and then.
She may. It's possible. I
uh,
think Madonna does too. Sometimes
Madonna's-
with a British accent.
It's crazy how people just go British. You know. God,
We can.
Give me a
give
hint.
another hint.
give me a hint.
She.
Otherwise, I'm not going to get this shirt.
It's a one. She uses one name. She doesn't use a last name.
Or should she just be?
Go through the alphabet. Start with A.
So she uses one name.
Starts with A.
Is it? Oh, is it? Well, it starts with A.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm thinking Celine, but she's French.
No.
It goes A to the D.
A to the D.
To the E.
Who is this?
You were about to
said
say
it.
it. To the
It's
L.
Adele.
Oh
Adele.
God!
Someone like you, JoJo.
Someone like you.
God, I'm so ashamed.
Just be
Oh my
just
God.
be glad that Adele doesn't listen to our show. We don't have
my
the
God.
LA.
She is massive.
crowd.
Oh my God, how did I miss her?
That's
Good Lord.
great. That's insane. It's okay though. It's okay.
I'll
We
get the
put you,
shirt.
we
You're the
put you
first
on the spot.
person. We're the first person that we're doing a bonus question.
Another first for us. Another first for us.
This is a sympathy question. Is what this is.
No, it's a bonus
It's a-
question.
it's a-
it was written in.
Okay,
It was. We planned.
I
on
don't
having
deserve this shirt. I don't deserve it.
What was the number one song on the radio the day you took over iHeartRadio Countdown, February 24th, 2018?
This is much more recent.
Oh my God, the first number one I did.
I didn't know this.
So right now we got Normani and Khalid.
Open your eyes, JoJo. Open your eyes.
Would that be? I think it's Drake, God's Plan.
That is the one!
And can you sing?
get-
And can you sing us a bar? I'm totally kidding.
No.
You get the
JoJo,
shirt.
congratulations. You fair and square won the vintage No Authority t-shirt that was in my mom's attic.
And we're gonna sign it.
And we will sign it
Oh
just
my
for
God,
you.
that's awesome. Oh my God.
Just because we love you so much.
I love you guys.
That is the
We're
7
just saying,
questions.
Congrats on
Thank you.
your
Bam.
performance.
Yes,
And,
and yes.
Okay, and so that was fun. We put you through the ringer on
You
that.
did. That's brutal.
So-
That's tough. I mean, I just can't. I blanked on all of that.
Do you know we like I said we had one guest actually answer it without a clue. Mm-hmm. Like this, what was it? It was like the date something closed
Shakira,
on,
My Hips Don't Lie.
and she got it. It was like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
we were blown away.
So she's like,
We gave her a
Shakira Hips Don't Lie.
t-shirt and a cassette tape.
no kidding.
and a
I don't
kiss on the
deserve
cheek.
Clearly. Oh my God.
Well, so what do you want to promote? What's coming up in the future of JoJo on the radio?
You know what? Right now I'm just busy with the Kiss radio show. So weeknights, 7 o'clock, 7 to 10, Kiss FM. The iHeartRadio Countdown airs on, a bunch of stations, obviously. Kiss FM Sunday nights, Z100 Sunday nights, wherever, So, if you can check that out on the app, sure,
Absolutely.
Future guests we have coming up. I've got Janet Jackson coming up. I've already recorded her. I got to tell her the Michael Jackson story, like I told you. I was really pumped about that. Benny Blanco came in. Diplo's coming in. I haven't taped him yet. He's coming in about 2 weeks. It just keeps me real busy. What I want to do next is really branch out and I want to find. TV's been very elusive to me.
Yeah.
That's the one. Like radio's been really good to me. Worked very hard at it, but been very really good to me. TV for the right. I want to do something. I don't want to just I'll use this as an example. Although if somebody offers me a gazillion bucks, we'd all do a game show. But I'm not pursuing game shows.
Right.
I want to do. I've been approached with an idea right now that's kind of on the table, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. But I want to do something where I can communicate on a daily with an audience. I love doing KTLA, but I don't want to do it just filling in. I want to do I want to do something full time like that.
Have the segment. Have the regularity.
Yeah, I want to have
right?
be on every day. I'm
Yeah.
good every day talking to an audience. That's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy doing that. So, filling in is great. It gets me in the door at places. And granted, it's kind of a promotional tool as well. Hey, Joe, you want to do it? Sure, I'll go do it.
Sure.
But I want a permanent slot doing that. And eventually I'll, grab an earlier time slot on the radio. But that's I'm not complaining at all. I mean, I haven't got up early in forever, and I don't know. I mean, I sleep late every day because that's what I have to.
Which is excellent.
Yeah, it's awesome.
great.
So it's kind of a part of me thinks I want to do something early. That I'm thinking, am I crazy? But so that's where I want that visual part of my career to really take off, as opposed to just the radio. Granted, radio is very visual now. I get that, but
It's changed a lot.
yeah, it's changed. It's not radio like it
tons.
used to be, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to really branch off into that visual side, and I want to do some sort of an A&R type thing, where right now I've been approached with this idea, and I have to make sure it works with the radio side of things.
Right.
But I've been approached to basically find young artists, but I don't know if I can do that with because there's rules in radio and whatnot.
Sure.
Now, the legal side of it is I can because I don't control playlists on the station, but I got to make sure the radio side and that whole team's happy.
That
as
they're
well, so-
okay with it.
Yeah, so we'll
sure.
see. And I don't have an offer yet, but there's I'm just floating around an idea. So that's something I wanted to do that for a while. I was approached about doing something similar to that for a younger production company about 3 or 4 years ago. A company called the Jam Productions, which signed Tori Kelly to her first record deal and still works with Becky G. And AJ from Backstreet still records a lot of solo stuff over there. But they work with a lot of young artists and write and this and that. but they asked me to be like their A&R guy for us, just and still doing radio.
And they
But-
do like a lot of like video work, like
Well, they just basically just write and produce albums.
Gotcha.
Like
Gotcha.
if like labels will go to them and say, hey, we need 3 songs to this person, or three songs, or they do
Nice.
writing camps for labels, or they'll sign an artist and then they'll just package the artist up and then take a percentage of the deal. But I would like to do that side of it as well. But I couldn't take that deal because the iHeart didn't want me to do it, which is fine. But I've been approached by somebody much higher up the food chain, and we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that we can work on a deal. And I didn't really fight for that last one because it was, it was a smaller company, and I don't want to. You got to pick your battles,
right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But this one's a much larger. He's a much larger player, very well known, and I think they can work out some deal that would be comfortable for everyone. I hope. So we'll see if that kind of comes to pass. But I want to do that, TV, and just keep the radio thing growing. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, you've definitely brought a lot of fun and joy, I think, to us, and I'm sure tons of folks in LA with,
I love you.
with the radio stuff. If you were able to tell yourself something back then that you now know,
Right.
like
a younger viewer who wants to get into radio.
what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Man, find out who you are as quick as possible.
That's really good.
Yeah, just
Just in general.
yeah, just
It's not easy.
no, it really isn't. I think and I don't know if I even still know, in a lot of ways. Like I think there's a self-discovery that you need to find out who you are so you can pursue the right thing to make you happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're always changing.
Right.
So it's sort of like but find out who you are and really pursue something that makes you happy. Not necessarily because people will tell you look, you got to go to college and be a dentist,
Right.
and that's an old story and whatnot. Be a doctor, be a lawyer. But I don't know. You got to find out who you are and what really makes you tick, and that's going to be your comfort zone. That's going to be where
bread and butter,
Yeah,
your-
generally, what you enjoy doing is what you're going to be the best at. Generally,
Right.
with the exception of like, hey, I'd love to play middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. As much as I love that, that's just not going to happen for me. So
It's good that you know that, Joe.
Yeah,
It's good that you know that.
And you wouldn't last
No.
a
I
would
whole
be
long
dead.
time doing it. either.
just dead.
It'd be a great moment for you.
Great moment, traction for 6 months. But find out who you are quick. And I think I found out who I was in some ways, because I stumbled into a few things, but still there's that, I think radio is such an opposite thing for me to do. Like with who I am, being super shy, I had no business being in radio, but I think radio kind of let me open up.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the type guy that's going to go on stage and do something crazy, but if it's for my job, well, I have to.
Right.
And then
That's your excuse.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an excuse, and it's just I gave myself permission to do that.
Right.
And it was kind of I don't know, that radio helped me out in a lot of ways, but yeah, I'm still like, find out who you are,
Yeah.
and just
So
don't stress so much.
find your best self
Find your best self.
as early as possible and give yourself permission to grow.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
And you know what? And even if you don't find it as early as possible, just find yourself. Because
Yeah.
I think that's a stress of I gotta be successful before I'm 17. No, you don't.
I know. Come
You're
on,
gonna be
people.
fine.
You're okay.
Everybody. Reality TV and not really. Social network. We compare ourselves, and I do the same thing.
Right.
Oh, my so-and-so's got
Subconsciously even.
Freaking hell!
Yeah.
Seacrest has got another $1 million.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy for him. But you think, when is my thing?
Right.
I shouldn't compare myself.
Right.
And granted,
There's always
Yeah,
gonna
it's
be
always that,
there's
you know.
always gonna be someone that you can look at and say, oh well, why don't I have that? Right.
Yeah.
But
Grass is always greener.
you've gotta look at yourself and say this is me. This is what I have, and be happy with it, and make your life the best life you can make it.
yeah, and take your own path.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate my own little. I think I enjoy, or I'm learning to enjoy more my very unique path I've taken. And I'm not the. There's a lot of people that are, a little more polished, but I've done that by design. Don't get me wrong, I'm polished on the radio. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I walk into a radio studio, I'm super comfortable.
Sure.
But there's some people that are more, and I've just kind of kept it like this unique, quirky character. I wanted, like sometimes I'm on the radio. Some people try to be perfect on the radio. At Kiss FM, I'm Joe Schmo. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm like, if I hear myself, like I'll kind of hear myself as I'm talking, and I sound too professional, and I'll cough. Kiss FM. Anyway,
Just to keep
just
it.
to make it that I'm real. I'm not like
Right.
just a plastic head. And also I'll throw in a cough, or I have breaks. Like you think people would leave out the sneezes. I have breaks of me sneezing that I put in. Just because it's brilliant. And oh God, sorry. Now I have this one break that it's I played it just the other day. It's like I go, you hear? I think the break starts off. Oh God, and this girl goes, what? I'm like, yeah. She goes, sorry about that. And she goes, you okay, Jojo? Yeah, give me a second. She goes, oh God. And then after she says, oh God, or whatever, then I'll come back in live. And you can't tell when you're listening, but I just because they can't. If you need to sneeze, it's never there. So I have the sneeze right. Just if I think everything seems a little bit too, I'll insert the cough or whatever, just to make people know that he's a dude and he's real. He's screwing up.
Yeah.
It makes you relatable. It's your brand.
Totally.
I think that's fantastic.
And you gotta find out what your, as far as the branding part of it, you got to be known for something.
Right.
And you can be known for 3 things later, but find
You're
that
known
one.
for your allergies. That's
Yeah.
really great. Jojo Wright, known for his allergies.
It's better than gas. Like,
You're thinking of the far slide. Oh, you're
And check clears.
gonna go hang out? No,
Okay.
Can you imagine that?
so your social media handles.
Yes.
Speaking of social,
Jojo Wright, JojoWrighT, just Jojo Wright on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I think it's official Jojo Wright. And YouTube. It's whatever. The Adventures of Jojo. But yeah, just search Jojo Wright.
That was fake.
That was the fake. That was fake one.
fake
I'm taking cues from you, JoJo.
Jojo, I know I said this before, but Tommy and I are just so thankful and so thrilled that you came over here to be with our podcast. And we think we talk very highly about you behind your back.
Behind your back.
We talk very highly about you. And we just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming and being a part of this.
Thank you very much. Can I ask you guys a question?
Absolutely.
Did you, Boom, anything that I said that you didn't know after knowing me we've known each other for a while, but we don't see each other very often, to be quite honest. Or doing the research?
No, I didn't know that you were like I love hearing about your
You
background.
didn't know
and
he had
coming.
one daughter, obviously.
I didn't know he had one daughter.
You didn't know that too.
And he has such terrible allergies. No, but I didn't know about how actual shy you were because you've always just been so friendly and easy.
Dude, it's so wild. And these guys, just seeing you guys just do your thing, it's just so wild. And to have, this is a full circle moment, It's just
Absolutely.
We need to promise, like from here on, like just every now and then, we'll just get some food or something like that, and just chill
Please.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
Like,
Please.
pick a time and let's just. I'm off the air at 10 in Burbank, so
Bob's Big Boy.
Bob's Big Boy.
If they'll get some freaking porridge.
I'll bring some
know,
instant
right?
oatmeal.
porridge for JoJo.
Yeah,
Hashtag
we'll
porridge
end
for
on that.
JoJo.
What came Bob's Big Boy? It's open. It's a breakfast spot, right? And
You're so upset about this.
yeah, and it's not that difficult to make oatmeal. It's just water it in, right? So I mean, I think it would be an easy ask. They already have like the brown sugar and butter. That's pretty much all you need to go
That's
with
all
it.
you need.
It would
That's all
be
you need.
a no-brainer.
Let's do a Thursday night special
I would love that.
after the show.
Really, I'm curious. Have you ever, because of how you just asked that, have you ever had someone sit down and interview you like this?
It's been every now and then, but it's
Yeah?
not very often. Usually, it's me doing the interviewing. Like
And never as fun as this, obviously.
God,
Of course not.
no,
Okay,
God,
good.
no. Really, no way. Like for example, that's how I got when I do my work at KTLA, which if you're outside of LA, that's the morning. KTLA is a big local LA station.
Yeah.
Is that me or is that?
I think that's
that's Eric with his
Sorry.
kind of in tune farts.
the pet
Yeah.
weasel.
Need some lubing up.
Good
But
job.
that's how I got my entrance into KTLA, was just doing guest appearances over there. They would come in and I would go promote something, or I wouldn't call it an interview. Well, I guess
Yeah.
it was, but I was there to promote something, or usually a Kiss FM function or whatever. And they would, of course, do the JoJo touch on whatever I got going on, and
Sure.
that doing enough of those, they start bringing me, hey, you want to do this? All right, cool. So that's how I kind of started doing some stuff over there, and that's kind of where I want my career to grow. But it started off with those guest appearances on KTLA, among other stations like that. But nobody as fun as you guys.
Oh,
Clearly.
absolutely.
Clearly,
Well, you let us dive in deep. You went back, took us on the journey, the JoJo journey, and
Thank you.
JoJo journey.
we took the JoJo trail across the country.
Do
Yes.
what?
None of us got dysentery, so we're good.
when you run out of gas, or if
Obscure
you run out of
reference.
gas, call me back, and I got plenty more stories. We'll
We
we'll
would love to
part
have
two
you
someday,
back.
so.
We'd love to.
We'd love to have you
This
back.
was just kind of a general JoJo overview. So we'd love to have you back and sit and talk, guest talk, and maybe some other fun.
Maybe some
little
easier
surprises.
questions. Those things are that's hard.
I know.
Oh my god.
You're not the first one.
We'll let you write your own questions next time.
Thank you for coming on a weekend on your day off.
Absolutely.
Also, huge thank you to KGM again, you guys. Really, really appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks again, JoJo. We love you. Thank
love
you guys
you.
for listening and
Bye.
watching. The Real Showcast is over for now.
Oh yeah.